Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey! Happy Monday! You know what? We were entertained yesterday.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. It wasn't the result some fans wanted, but we got a hell of a football game.
It's actually the perfect result if you think about it, because Shedeur Sanders played great. You feel good about, maybe we do have a guy. Obviously, he's got a lot more to prove, but
you didn't screw up your draft.
You feel like he's got a chance, and they still lost, which gives them a better chance to get the first overall pick. And in a perfect world, if you don't have to take a quarterback, who knows what you're going to do with that first overall pick.
How about a wide receiver with that
Or
pick?
how about you trade down a couple of spots and get 3 first-round picks and still take a wide receiver and offensive lineman?
That's their MO,
There's a lot of possibilities. Long way to go for that, but
a lot of chatter. A lot of stuff to get into.
Browns
Jay
have the
went to the game
tiebreaker,
yesterday as a fan.
I did.
Did you enjoy?
Yeah.
Were you not entertained?
It was fun. We had a great time. Everybody bailed. It was about half full.
That
probably,
looked like it on TV.
And it was about quarter full by the end. Everybody bailed in the fourth quarter.
Was it that empty by the end?
Yeah, everybody
down
bailed.
14 with 5 minutes to go.
I can't remember if it was the pick or the block punt. What came second?
The block.
The block punt
All right,
was
that's
after
what-
the pick.
I think the block punt is what cleared everybody out.
Okay.
And I got to. I'm trying to think of a way to tell this without getting anybody in trouble. But I put on the group chat yesterday. It was so funny.
Oh yeah.
A Browns player came in the game who doesn't normally get a lot of playing time.
Yeah.
That's fair, right? That's a good.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
All right.
Yeah.
And as soon as this person came in, the people behind us started booing him voraciously and like saying horrible, awful things about his human body parts. And I turned around and I said,
Why?
Well, I turned around and said, I take it you guys are like his friends or family? And this girl goes, no, he cheated on my sister. I hate him. I mean it. And like suddenly the entire section at a home game started screaming at this Browns player about what a horrible human he was and how awful his body parts. It was
wild,
so
word.
entertaining. It was the most entertaining part of the
That's wild.
because that's
You
when
didn't
it,
put that part of the story in the chat. Now it makes it. I don't think you did.
Oh, yeah.
Why
Yeah, he
they
did.
were doing it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
I missed
Yeah,
that
yeah,
part.
It
I
was
missed that part.
for about 15 minutes. It was the most entertaining part of the game. It was hysterical. We had a great time though. I took AJ.
Good.
I never
Good.
get to go because I'm always
Right.
covering this poison.
Yeah.
And to be able to take a day and just go
It
hang
is fun
out.
just to go as a fan and just let all the worries of covering the game
and just
go
be a
and
dad
just
and
enjoy
take a
it.
kid to the game.
Well, was it cold? It looked like it was bitter.
It
at
was
times.
cold, but it really wasn't that bad.
It wasn't windy.
It
That's
was
what
not
was,
windy
yeah.
at all, and
Yeah,
that makes
good.
it. And so I took him. If you remember, I took him to that Christmas Eve game against the Saints a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And at one point yesterday, he goes, "Dad, that game broke me. I'll never be cold again." After
Yeah.
that. Like this is.
I was there
nothing
that day
compared-
as well.
That was. That's right.
Coldest I've ever been
You
in a
had
game.
Corey there, didn't you? 'Cause
Yes,
it was Christmas
Corey and I
Eve.
stood there in 0-degree weather.
Yep.
And it was the wind was blowing.
Yep.
There was nothing enjoyable about that day.
That was the
That's why I
coldest,
give-
coldest I've ever been in my
I
life.
give white people credit, man. I give y'all credit, man. Y'all sail around Africa. and
Some of
find
us
the
take
tip
our
of the
shirts
dough.
off at the games.
Y'all got on boats in 1842 and just decided, let me go over and see what's over there. You guys got in spaceships and you're just like, let me get in a rocket and go fast to the moon. And you go to games when it's cold outside. I
Pioneers,
appreciate
man. Someone's
I-
gotta
right,
do it.
somebody
Not
gotta
me.
do
I
it.
don't do any of those things.
Mike, what do we got
I don't
today?
get on boats. I don't get on spaceships.
We got a
nothing.
jam-packed show.
missing
We
out,
got to
Bull.
get into everything. I want to make sure we get in all the things that have to be discussed today. So let's do a read and let's dive right into the meat and bones of today's show. Our first topic, our Sheduer topic, brought to you by a Home Builders Association. Give big this year with the Home for the Holidays raffle. You get a chance to win a beautiful new custom home or a cash prize this holiday season and help make wishes come true for Make-A-Wish kids with critical illnesses. Raffle proceeds benefit Make-A-Wish OKI, which has granted over 22,000 wishes to children facing critical illnesses all across Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana since 1983. This year's house is a custom-built ranch by Petros Homes with 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and a 3-car garage. It also includes amazing features like a great room with vaulted ceilings, an unbelievable kitchen, and a mudroom with open lockers and a unique pet shower station. One lucky winner will be announced on December 24th, so get your $100 tickets now. Just visit homefortheholidays.org to buy your tickets. That's a homefortheholidays.org. Terms and conditions apply. Guys, we saw the best quarterback play we have seen in a long time from a Browns quarterback. Sheduer throwing for 364 yards, 4 total touchdowns, just 1 interception in the loss of the Titans. G. Bush, I want to start with you on this one. What impressed you the most about what Shedeur Sanders did yesterday against the Tennessee Titans?
I think I'm Big Meech. Larry Hoover. Whipping work. Hallelujah. One nation under God. Real getting money from the start. That's how you come out. That's what I'm talking about. You already know my slogan. Zip them up. Let's go. I got the spirit of Coach Prime on right now. I seen he pulled up like Frank Lucas to the facility. He had the mink on. He came in a double R Rolls Royce, got escorted in, and he had 75 chains on. I said, I see you, Coach Prime. Let me put 96 chains on. You know why? Because you look good, you feel good, you play good. And I told you, but the thing that's most impressive is not about what you do and where off the field, it's about what you do on that football field. And we talked about it. Yeah, Shedeur Sanders was the first dude to win his first game as a rookie. And they said, oh, it's legendary. It's against the Raiders. It's just legendary a little bit. You playing around. But then guess what he did? He came out there yesterday and he showed you this is the difference between the first pick and the 5th pick. Now, if we're going to use the 5th pick against my bro, we used it all summer. I need y'all to put the context on the 5th pick in general. So what I went the J route. I went and asked AI. I said, AI, talk to your boy G. Bush. Has there ever been a quarterback drafted after the 4th round in his rookie year to ever throw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns? She came back to me like Hal or Skynet. G. Bush, we do not compute. Shedeur Sanders is the only person ever in the world and universe to do that. So I call that legendary. We can get to the rest of the stats, but the thing is, not only did he do that, but he showed you layer by layer, throw by throw, multiple big-time throws. One in the corner to David Njoku. Perfect ball, placed perfectly. He threw another one in Harold Fannin Jr., perfectly placed in the corner of the end zone for another touchdown. He showed you that he could get back to his second, third step and throw the ball over the middle. By the way, beautiful throw down the sideline to Harold Fannin Jr. Oh, by the way, there was a Jerry Jeudy sighting. He got him involved. And not only did he do that, he led the Cleveland Browns in rushing too. I mean, the guy got beat up. He got hit time after time. He got up. He continued to fight. He had a bad interception. And the most impressive thing about Shedeur Sanders, had a bad interception. He was trying to make a play. He put the ball up, and it hurt. But guess what he did after that? He came back, locked back in, moved down the field, got the team in position. And if it wasn't for a certain somebody we're going to talk about, we might have been going into overtime, but we're not going to get into that. Shedeur Sanders was legendary. No quarterback had did what he did. By the way, since the Super Bowl era, I know you know this one, Bull, because Joe Burrow's on this list. There's only been one rookie to ever throw for 350 yards and 2+ touchdowns and another rushing touchdown since the Super Bowl era. One of them is Joe Burrow, and the other is Shedeur Sanders. I ask you, Cam Ward is a first-round pick, first overall. I just saw him be outplayed by Shedeur Sanders. Case closed.
Did we win?
Thanks to Kevin Stefanski.
We'll get to Stefanski next.
The dangers in what we're doing here is the overreactions both ways.
No, it's not.
There will be people, and I saw it, killing Shedeur Sanders. And then there are people basically making arguments that he's one of one. He's done stuff no one's ever done. We lost the freaking game to a one-loss team or one-win team at home, G.
Was that his fault?
He was the quarterback. You win and lose with the quarterback. And here's the thing. He played great yesterday. But what we can't do is elevate him to this status that he is the king and the Messiah and he is one of one.
No.
Because it's a false narrative and just creating false hope. It's a one-win team that beat us at home.
See, here's the thing.
You left out the lead.
No, I left out the lead is we talked about his game against the Rams for a whole entire 6 months.
That's all we had.
Guess
preseason.
What? We talked about a preseason game that didn't matter and him running backwards. We heard articles, we heard shows, we did routine. We talked about a game where he got sacked multiple times. Now, if you're going to use that same energy, use the same energy all the way around. If we was going to talk 6 months about him getting sacked, I'm sure that we could talk a couple of hours about the performance that he put up.
We should. But here's what I'm saying, G. I'm saying that his supporters, and I love them for their steadfast consistency and their support. I love that. That's what supporters do. But you have to be careful in sports of the crazy overreactions one way or another. Here's what he did yesterday.
Bald.
He took major steps towards becoming a starting quarterback in the NFL. Major steps. He proved a lot of his doubters wrong by making plays that NFL quarterbacks have to make. They have to make those plays. He made them. Did he make some mistakes? Yes, he's a rookie. He's young. He's supposed to. But to say that, and statistically you're right. You know what stats are. You can peel that onion a million ways. You can find things that, here's another stat. Out of 48 quarterbacks, he's 47th in completion percentage. So again, that would be an overreaction to him being a horrible quarterback. That's not fitting of the quarterback he is. But it's a stat. It doesn't lie. You can't argue with it.
Nobody in Brown's history did what he did.
Gee, you're absolutely right. In fact, you're right to say that, the 300 yards and all of that, you're right. Those are stats that he achieved. You cannot take them away from him. But my fear is, I had a deep conversation yesterday via text with another one of his ardent supporters, and he sees this becoming an issue as well. And here's what it is. The supporters are being so over the top that they're setting this kid up for failure.
It's not about,
not Kevin Stefanski.
It's-
When you hold him up as he's doing stuff that's never been done in the league,
that's what the statistics say.
he better do it against the Bills.
But here's the thing.
He better do it against the Steelers.
but guys,
he better do it against the Bengals.
If this was Dylan Gabriel, you would be sitting up on this table talking about how great he was. They gave Dylan Gabriel Skynet.
We would also be
2006.
saying he did it against a one-win team
Hold
at
on.
home.
But by the way, no other team that played the Titans who threw for 300 against the Titans. Besides
I don't
him?
know. I don't
None.
watch them.
Zero. You don't have to look.
I don't even
Matt
care.
Stafford,
I don't watch
no.
it.
Okay, I'm just
Here's
saying.
what I know. They're a one-win team. So
I get it. I get it.
I give you and Sheduer his flowers on this Monday.
Hold on. No. See, this is where we're getting at. It's not about the supporters, guys. See, it
kind of is.
No, it's not. The pushback that we get is people versus the supporters. Judge the man's game. I don't care about that. I'm talking about the game. Forget who support who.
And I am.
When we critique the game, but everybody gets in their feelings because his supporters are supporters. At the end of the day,
No.
At the end of the day, we are supposed to sit here and talk about what Shedeur Sanders did, right? And what I'm telling you is, I don't care what the supporters say. I'm talking about the game that he was put on when we were told week after week after week he wasn't ready. This is
Right.
by the way, this is third game starting.
No,
game.
it's just a second.
It's the second game.
Jason, what do
Yeah.
you got here? Third game starting. It was his third.
Was it his third?
Yeah.
So his fourth
Raiders,
game play.
Raiders,
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And Titans.
Yeah.
I thought he was very good in the first half. I thought he was shaky third quarter, shaky start of the fourth quarter, and what he did in the second half of the fourth quarter solidified he has to have the rest of the season.
100%.
And if he plays like he did yesterday, the next 3 games, the thing that I think is most fascinating is over the last 48 hours, how the conversation around here has swung wildly. Watching Fernando Mendoza Saturday night.
Yeah.
And everyone's saying, you got to go get him, you got to go get him, you got to go get him. And then what Sheduer did over the last, 7-8 minutes of the fourth quarter, because that's really what we're talking about.
Yeah, because even at about the halfway point of the fourth quarter.
I told you, they left. Everybody left.
Well, I mean, if you're watching the game, you're looking at it going, wow. I mean, he did play good first half, but that third quarter and into the fourth quarter was
shaky.
miserable football.
And at that point, when everyone's leaving, my thought is it was kind of like Niners game. It's okay. And then what he did on those last 2 drives is what has everyone like, okay, maybe there's something here.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I love that the next 3 games now are against pretty good teams.
Yes.
So it's Chicago, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo. So if he plays remotely as well in the next 3 as he did yesterday, it sets up a fascinating conversation for next season.
I think he comes back in the driver's seat for next season.
Well, if
he does
if
that.
my options are Shedeur Sanders or Deshaun Watson,
Well, and they are.
I will throw myself on the field to make sure
Yeah.
that Shedeur is protected.
Yeah.
I will.
And those might be the options.
We never have to see Deshaun take
Those
another
might be the
snap
options.
again.
And to that point, Jay, that's why I'm excited about what lies ahead.
I will rig the election for Shedeur.
Yeah, and you
to
know what?
make sure that we
I
never
do
have
believe
to see Deshaun
that
take another snap.
if your scenario is true, that let's say they don't draft a quarterback, and if he plays like he did yesterday for the last 3 games, you're not drafting a quarterback.
He doesn't have to throw for 350.
No, but what he has to do is look like an NFL quarterback. He looked like more than an NFL quarterback in that fourth quarter. He looked like a quarterback who can rally a team. Now, you got to look at who he's doing it against. You got to look at all of the things.
It all plays into it.
It all plays into it. That's why I love that. I mean, Chicago's a good defense. I like Chicago's defense a lot. Buffalo and Cincinnati's defense, I mean, what they give up yesterday combined, over 70 points.
They're good teams, though.
They're good teams. They're good offenses. Their defenses are not great. So I think what it does is it's a perfect scenario for Shedeur Sanders. Yes, if you look at the teams, okay, they're all pretty good teams, even though Cincinnati is what they are right now record-wise. They're a good team. I think they proved that yesterday. It's a perfect scenario for him because each game could end up being just like yesterday's. Offensive shootouts where you score a lot of points. He can't be judged for what the defense yesterday was absolutely atrocious.
Nasty work.
The defense was trying to get sacks, and Tennessee said, yeah, we're going to run the ball. And we did not adjust. And I was really surprised and even disappointed that we did not adjust. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. If it comes down to Sheduer and Deshaun Watson for next season, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's easy.
That's not a
That's
discussion.
easy.
So, I got a lot to say. I've stayed quiet here for 15 minutes. I got a lot to say. You could factor in all these things. I think most of what all of you have said is fair. Factor in all these things. Obviously, you factor in that the Titans aren't very good. Obviously, you factor in that the weather was bad. Here's something else I want to factor in. I didn't think Shedeur Sanders was going to do much in this game. I had the Browns scoring 16 points.
I had 3-0.
You had 3-0.
I mean, it's tongue in cheek, but yes,
so
I thought it'd be a little small.
you know what else I got to factor in? The fact that Shedeur Sanders made the pass catchers on this roster, who have mostly been crap, look good yesterday. The Browns looked like they had legitimate pass catchers. Even Cedric Tillman goes up and makes a catch. The Browns looked like a competent NFL offense. Has Shedeur Sanders proven without a doubt that he's the franchise quarterback? Of course not. He hasn't played enough. No quarterback, nobody, none. Joe Burrow, nobody, in 3.5 games can prove without a doubt that you're the franchise quarterback.
Well, in week 2 this year, Minnesota thought J.J. McCarthy was their guy.
Too soon, right?
Yeah.
But what he did do yesterday was give hope to fans that have not had any hope since Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
Jacoby Brissett didn't give you hope because he's a journeyman. Joe Flacco didn't give you hope because he's old. Jameis Winston didn't give you hope because you've seen him for a decade. Dylan Gabriel didn't give you hope because he showed no franchise quarterback traits at all. On and on and on the list goes to Baker Mayfield. In fact, I would argue he's the only quarterback besides Baker that has given you hope in 15 years, maybe.
That's fair.
Okay?
With the exception of the brief run by Flacco in
No, but
23.
he didn't give you hope because
No,
he was
but
old.
39.
But,
No,
he put
there
us
was no
in
hope.
but he put us in the playoffs.
But it
we
doesn't
were
matter.
excited about that.
That doesn't
we
matter.
knew he wasn't the long-term answer.
all
if
I'm
that's
saying
what
is
you're saying.
hope for the future.
Yes.
long
No,
term.
he did
That's
not.
what I'm saying.
He did not.
Okay? Now, obviously, I want to see more. But what I saw from Shedeur Sanders yesterday was very impressive. Yes, the third quarter, the pick was bad. And first of all, he didn't even have the ball that much in the third and early fourth quarter. I could go through every game of every good quarterback in the history of football, with very few exceptions, and I could find a stretch during that game where that quarterback didn't play well.
Sure.
Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, whoever.
Hell, look at Mahomes right now.
Exactly. So, but the point is, for the game, I don't need to break it down. For the game, Shedeur Sanders was excellent. Yeah, okay, well, maybe I won't give him an A+ because he threw the pick, and the completion percentage wasn't great. But some of the reason why the completion percentage wasn't good is because he was overall making very smart decisions when to throw away the ball.
Instead of taking sacks.
If you consider the fact, I don't care that the Titans stink, the Browns stink too. If you consider the fact that his teammates stink, for the most part on offense, that his teammates on defense who were supposed to be great were terrible yesterday, we could say, yeah, they did lose. But if the defense played as well as they had the rest of the year, the Browns would have won this game going away. Now, it might have been, obviously, it would have played out differently at the end because he didn't need to come back. But come on, how many games have the Browns, even against bad teams, been down 14 points late in the game and you thought they had a chance? None. In my years of covering the Browns, this is my 16th season covering the Browns, there's only Baker Mayfield, as much as I got down on him at the end, was the only quarterback that I was like, I think he could come back here. Last night, I thought they had a chance.
I didn't.
And they did.
I didn't.
I thought
Even
they had a
after
chance.
When that punt was blocked, whenever everyone stuck.
Okay, yeah, well, that was that.
But
But,
that- I mean,
but
that's
after
the
that
point.
first touchdown throw,
Yeah.
I thought, that's why in the real-time chat we're going to get into this about the decision to go for 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I did not like the decision to go for 2, not because it didn't work. I think in that situation, if you score a touchdown and you score again and you're kicking an extra point, you've got all the momentum going to overtime. Let it ride.
I hear you. We'll get into
But
that.
after that first touchdown, I thought, our defense is going to stop them. We are going to get the ball back, and we are going to score a touchdown.
And there's some things you can't measure in stats. Stats can tell the truth. Stats can lie, right?
All the time.
I think the only stat I like G. Bush's stats. Only one I think is a little unfair is the other quarterbacks with 300 because a lot of those games were blowouts and so the teams weren't throwing the ball. But I don't say that to take away anything from Sheduer, but that's why some of the other quarterbacks didn't throw for 300. But the rest of the stats are eye-popping.
And they matter.
And they matter. And,
They do.
and it's not easy. You could say, well, every quarterback has a good game once in a while. Not really. Dylan Gabriel didn't have a good game.
Not like that.
You could say every quarterback throws 4 touchdowns once in a while. Not really. There's plenty of quarterbacks that don't do it.
This year have thrown for that many?
Not that many.
He's the only rookie quarterback to throw
And-
for
and
over
not even
3.
talking rookies.
I know.
How
He's,
many
Anybody.
quarterbacks?
He's
I
the
mean, you
only-
don't get 300 anymore.
And the
Right.
Titans' defense, as bad as the Titans are, their defense is not historically bad. Their defense is not good. Their offense is historic. Their offense is a joke, and that's why it was.
Now, let me
shame
tell
on
you
the
this.
defense.
No,
To answer that question,
Jeffrey Simmons is a absolute dog.
The Titans defense is just normal bad, like any other team in every year.
They're like 26th or 25th
Whatever.
in total
I mean,
defense.
They were low 20s, but to answer your question, how many quarterbacks? Shedeur, so he threw for 3, he ran for the 4th.
Yeah.
Right.
So quarterbacks who have thrown 4 touchdowns. It's only happened 23 times all season. So he's tied.
Wait a minute. There have been 23 times this year a quarterback has thrown for 4 touchdowns?
Or more, correct.
That's higher than I thought it would be, to be honest.
Well, but he's not tied because he didn't throw for 4.
No, he
saying
threw for
just
3.
Throw for 4.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So he'd be tied with 24 and down. Sam Darnold's thrown for 3. He did it.
Yeah, we don't want to go through the whole list.
I'm not going. I'm just saying.
surprised it's that high.
It's only
to be
been that
honest.
many times, 23 times.
The point is, there's a lot. It's his 3rd NFL start, guys. So while, yes, I'll factor in that Tennessee isn't good, it's a minor factor because the Browns aren't good. I think people always forget that when you're ready to jump on a guy saying, well, he only did it against a bad team. Well, he's on a bad team.
Sure.
He's on an offense that couldn't score. He's on an offense. Dylan Gabriel. I don't mean to, kill him, but Dylan Gabriel never picked up his teammates.
It's fair, though,
Never.
Bull. You're not killing him. That's
Yeah.
a fair statement.
Never. And
we never saw a spark from Dylan Gabriel. Ever.
No, and there's something to be said that Shedeur Sanders, I'm not saying everybody loves him. There's probably a couple guys on the team that think he's a pain in the ass.
Right.
That's going to be the case. When you're
but
different,
that's common.
When you're different, especially, you're gonna piss some people off.
Sure.
That's fine. But there's a lot of guys on that team, and I don't know this for a fact. I'm just saying, I bet you it's true. There's a lot of guys on that team that are motivated by Shedeur Sanders, that are inspired by Shedeur Sanders, that like that he's different, that like he's not a typical NFL quarterback. He doesn't talk like a typical NFL quarterback. He doesn't act like a typical NFL quarterback, and that's fine. Not everybody has to fit into the same mold.
Who you described as Baker. There were guys on the team that liked Baker, and there were guys on the team that hated Baker.
Yeah.
Baker was different. Baker said different stuff. But when Baker is electric and things are working, they are really good.
Yeah.
But the swings that you get with Baker are, when they're not, they are really bad. And those are the ebbs and flows of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess I'd rather have a even keel, a guy that's just steady Eddie, doesn't go over the top with numbers, but also doesn't drop absolute bombs during games.
We don't know if that's Shedeur yet.
We don't. We have not
3
enough
games.
not enough.
Here's what we know:
size.
Shedeur Sanders in the last 3 weeks is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. That can't be debated.
That is absolutely unequivocally true.
Yes,
statistically. Now, and again, I think this is the last thing I'll say on it. That we can go to the next Shedeur topic or whatever, or the next topic in general. But I'll state what I said at the beginning. The danger here is to building this kid up to being one of one, the king,
your
the
head
Messiah.
against the wall.
That's
It
fans
doesn't matter.
I know that's what's being a
we
fan,
can't
but
fight it. I spent 10 minutes last night on my podcast lauding Shedeur Sanders, and there was one sentence that I said where I said he hasn't proven it enough. I meant to say he hasn't proven enough yet that he's definitely the franchise quarterback. What I actually said was he hasn't proven anything yet. I didn't even realize I had said it instead of not enough. And that got turned into I'm a racist, I'm a this, I'm a that. But I cannot worry about that. There's nothing you can do about it, so you got to just ignore
right,
that.
But you're not helping the kid when you call him the Messiah.
I'm not holding it against him. I'm not holding him against him.
Let the fans be fans.
Yes,
fans are
that's it.
lunatics. They're fanatical,
Yes.
good
They are.
and bad. That's irrelevant to me. That's why I took Twitter.
I'm
off
not
my
even.
phone weeks ago.
But Jay, I'm not really pointing this at fans.
But
it's coming from the media too. We saw something happen over the weekend between media members.
It's not going to influence the Browns. The Browns
It
have
shouldn't.
the next. What we got? 4 games left.
Yes.
4, right?
Correct.
They got 4 games left to figure out. Can we? Because this is the beauty of it. To me, is I don't see the harm in giving him next year. Now, if he goes out and lays a turd these next 3 games, obviously we're going to have a different discussion. But if he continues to grow and progress at this, what's the harm in giving him next year? Because this roster has still got a ton of holes. One draft was never going to solve all their problems. You can take next year's draft, you can continue to fill holes, and if it doesn't work next year, and by the end you get to the end of next year and you say he's not it, well, now again you've got this alleged great quarterback class coming in 2027. You can figure it out. So I think there's more upside than downside to giving him next year if he continues to progress like this. You don't have to give him a 10-year contract right now. Just give him the next 3 games,
and if he hits
the next 4, and if he continues to progress, give it again. You're telling me Deshaun Watson's going to be on this team next year? Give me Sheduer every single time.
For those people who,
but he is going to be on the team.
For those people that don't, and this is I'm trying to get through to people and get sometimes that you can let the outside noise affect what you're seeing right now. What you're seeing right now is, think about it like this. What if Deshaun Watson would have had this type of game? When he was playing here. Because we was talking about the Ravens second half. Remember, it was a joke.
For 9 months.
We talked about the Ravens second half for 9 months as that was the
But that was the Ravens on the road and we won.
But here's what I'm saying. If Deshaun Watson had that type of performance, we would be ecstatic. If it was Dylan Gabriel, we would be ecstatic. If it was Baker. My thing is, we shouldn't let the enthusiasm of fans and people who support them. You're going to have supporters everywhere, bro. That's just part of the world. That's part of the fandom. As far as what makes the NFL great, I salute people for supporting who they're going to support come hell or high water. That's the reason why the NFL is so captivating, because people are vested and interested. But for us, as the media members, we shouldn't be glossing over. We should be excited about the fact that you may not have to get a quarterback, and you could get some other things
I don't
going.
think anybody's glossing over it at all.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a perfect scenario. The perfect scenario is Shedeur plays great and the Browns lose, obviously, this year. And then next year, you use those picks to build the talent around
Well,
him.
imagine if you have a starting quarterback, who's on a 5th-round pick contract.
Great.
When you see in the past when Russ Wilson took the Seahawks to the Super Bowl, the big excitement was, wow, he's on a rookie contract. We can build up this defense. We can put so many parts around him. What happened when he was outside of that rookie deal and now had to be paid the $30 million a year? Well, they couldn't afford the defense. The team went downhill. It is a luxury if you can win with a rookie quarterback or a quarterback on his first deal, particularly when you're talking about a guy who was drafted in the 5th round. That's like a lottery ticket. So it behooves the Browns. Like, they've got to make this work.
Especially because their cap's a disaster already.
Yeah. This would give them some relief. Yeah. This would give them a lot of relief.
Not that they were going to have to worry about another quarterback effect, even if they drafted a quarterback in the first round next year. That's not going to affect the cap for the next couple of years.
But it would be a higher contract.
They still should cut Deshaun. He should not be on this team next year.
He
should not be on this team.
In fact,
I don't want to railroad it. I know it's
in fact, if Shedeur does prove to be the starter, it's even more of a reason to
go. Clear the room.
Yep.
Jay, I think everybody agrees with that. That's the right thing to do. I don't see any tea leaves that's what they're going to do.
I mean, they had a concerted PR effort over the weekend to make sure everyone knows that.
I noticed that.
And I totally disagree. It becomes a manageable conversation to have. Good teams would have cut him already. It becomes manageable. It's like 27% of the cap that he would count against.
Oh, my God.
The Broncos, when the Broncos did it, it was like 20%, I think, for that first year hit.
I don't want to derail. Leave it till tomorrow. Go ahead, Mike.
Just real quick, before we move on, let's grade Sheduer because we do it every week. We graded him last week. We graded him in his first start. Jay, we'll start with you on with the ball. But what grade would you
give him a solid B+. And the reason it's not an A, obviously you're judged on wins and losses, 100%. And for me to give a quarterback an A in a losing effort, he has to be perfect. He can't make mistakes. He can't be the reason the team lost. He contributed to the loss with the bad pick. If you take that pick out, I definitely give him an A-, but I give him a very solid B+. And I also take into account who they did it against. If he does this against the Bills, he gets an A+. But it wasn't. It was a bad defense. And by and large, with the exception, Jay, I thought you touched on it well. I thought the first half was a very good first half. I thought he played very well. He made some throws. In general, it just seemed like everybody got disinterested in the third quarter. I don't know what the hell was said at halftime. I just thought they came out flat as a team. We had a number of 3-and-outs. You couldn't get any rhythm going. I want to see this kid in a tempo offense. And I know most teams look good because of what the defense is doing, but I just liked it when they were in rhythm and they were going, getting up to the line, throwing, going, moving, keeping the defense on their heels. That little bit, the 7 to 8 minute stretch in this fourth quarter where he had the 2 touchdowns, to me changed the entire narrative on the young man. And I think if nothing else, he absolutely rubber stamps every start the rest of this year. And if he does what he did consistently against the last 4 teams this year, you don't have to draft a quarterback. You're closer to knowing that you can start next year and see if he's the guy for a full season.
G. Bush, what grade would you give Sheduer?
I mean, you have to come to me on this. It's easy money. Given the fact of what the offensive line was like yesterday. You had 4 backup offensive linemen in the game. You lose your starting center. You couldn't run the ball. Every time, they gave the ball to Quinshon Judkins, he was getting hit in the backfield. It was inclement weather. I wouldn't say it was crazy. It wasn't cold and the wind went crazy, but it was snowing outside. And given the fact that you didn't have a running game and you did what you did, and it's not even the numbers. What I saw more from him was the maturation in terms of how you handle the game and understanding what you need at different times. Sometimes he needed to run, sometimes he needed to get rid of the ball, sometimes he needed to throw a quick dump down to Jerome Ford to get some yards. So for me, I'm going to give him an A. I'm not going to give you no A+. I'll give him an A-. I'll knock a little bit off because we did take, he did throw a pick or whatever, and they did take an L, but by no means, way, shape, or form. They did not lose this game because of him, because we're going to get to your boy here in a second. Kevin, but I give him A-.
Jason?
Yeah, I give him an A-. I said last week, it's time to take the guardrails off and let him play quarterback, and they did that yesterday, and I thought it was the right time to do it. The Raiders is his first start. Obviously, you're going to be very conservative in how you approach it. And then the Niners, it was very windy. They're a decent team. I understood keeping them up, but we said last week, listen, it's the one-win Titans. It's now or never. Let this kid play quarterback and see what he can do. And they did that, and he rewarded them for it. I'm with G. I actually liked, you could almost see it like, I got to get rid of the ball. Things in college where maybe he would have held it a little bit longer, or he would have tried to do something, it's like, I got to get rid of it. Even the grounding, I didn't even hate the grounding.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a penalty, and but at least he's learning, get rid of the ball.
You can tell his clock has sped up.
And that's why I'm not going to kill him for completion percentage, because I would rather him have a low completion percentage and take 4 balls that he's throwing out of bounds.
Yes.
And so I actually, like, it sounds stupid. I actually think I've seen the most growth with him on get rid of it.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think it sounds stupid at all.
And there's times where he's still dancing around too much, and against better defenses,
it'll catch him.
It's going to get him.
But you know what? He's not running backwards as much.
But it's less than it was.
Yes.
And you're seeing the progression week after week after. That's all you're looking for.
I thought he did a great job of getting out of bad situations yesterday.
The throw to Fannin was terrific in the end zone. It was a terrific catch as well. That was a fabulous catch by Fannin. So there was a ton to like from him. There's a bad pick. And again, that's sort of reverting to bad habits. But the longer he does this, the more he does this, the hope is that he'll continue to break those because he's made tremendous progress.
I like that the pick didn't break him. A lot of times when rookie quarterbacks throw picks like that can swing a game.
That ain't going to break him.
It didn't break him. And I loved his post-game news conference, too. First of all, I know he lit up some colleagues of ours in the post-game news conference. I love the way he handles the media afterwards. He was asked, was that your primary receiver? Talking about the Fannin throw. Well, yeah, who else would have he been throwing to? I think it was Zach. I think he meant to ask, was
just go through the entire play.
Yeah.
What he was.
Yeah, was that your intended, was your number one?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like the way he handles stuff like that. Like they asked him about a play, he said we ran that in practice. Did it work?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no.
Did it work?
That was a stupid
No,
question.
it didn't work. That's why we ran it in the game. It was, but what I like about the kid is in the moment, he is quick enough to look at that kind of stuff. He doesn't back down. And that's, I think, of all the traits needed to be a great quarterback, all of the great quarterbacks have one thing in common. They do not back down. They hold their ground, and I think he did that both on the field. After that pick, I thought he came out. What pick? Short memory. He made dangerous throws, put them in tight windows, and he made those throws. And you build on that. What's your grade?
I give it an A. Last night I would have given it a B+ if you asked me for a grade last night.
What changed your mind?
I rewatched the game actually at 6 o'clock this morning, and I calmed myself down. I was I talked to Mike right after I did my podcast. And I was very agitated last night because of some of the comments that people were making to me on Twitter. I mean, not on Twitter. I wasn't on Twitter. On my during my show in the chat. And Mike said he thought it was an A, and I was like, no, because I was mad. And I realized that in the conversation that Mike and I had, I think I was taking out my frustration and my anger, which was fair because people were out of control.
Don't read the comments.
Well, no, but I want to because I like to. It usually works out great. I overreacted to it. But I realized, I said, am I taking that out? Am I lowering Shedeur's grade because I'm angry at some things people are saying to me? So I obviously calmed down after I slept. I got up at 6 o'clock this morning. I purposely set my alarm because I wanted to watch the game first thing in the morning. And I rewatched it, and I just said, okay, yeah, it wasn't a perfect game, certainly not. But I think the negatives were so few that the positives, considering, I got to consider the Titans stink, but there's so many other things going against him in this situation, between weather, between the fact that he was a 5th-round pick.
Have we ever seen a worse offensive line for the Browns, ever?
Well, I
can't remember it.
On paper, I actually didn't think they played that 99. Bad yesterday.
They gave him 3.5 seconds to throw the ball. Yeah, you're right. That was a pretty bad offensive
line. Just to finish my thought, I just think there was so many things going against him in this game, including the fact that there's just, he's got more pressure than any young quarterback, and certainly more pressure than any 5th-round pick in the history of the sport. And the fact that he was a 5th-round pick is why he got so little in terms of reps and whatever. It wasn't unfair. It wasn't a conspiracy theory. He was a 5th-round pick, but that works against him when he's a starter, just like it would work against every other 5th-round pick. That's a quarterback. And yet he overcame it all to play as well as he did after the team blew the lead. A disappointing defense, bad special teams, no running game, none.
Special teams.
None. Quinshon Judkins had a 14-yard run. Besides that, he averaged less than a yard per carry. They had in fact, their best running game was him.
It was him. They didn't have a running game.
I think that was an A performance.
Okay.
And I don't hold the loss on him at all.
I think in general, we're all in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
B+, A-, A. I would say about the comments, Bull.
I'm not worried about it. I know. I just brought it up because I was saying it was affecting my picture on it, and I had to take that away.
Yeah, but you're better. You're better than that. You trust your gut. I mean, fine that you went back and looked at it.
It wasn't a factor in anything I said. It was only a factor when I had a conversation with Mike off the air because I was angry in that moment. Yeah. And so that's why I needed to calm down and reassess.
It's all right to change your mind when you get new material.
It's a more mature Bull.
It's also
kinder, gentler Bull.
Bull called me because all last week when I was on the panel, I was predicting Sheduer was going to have this good game, and Bull was like, "It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen." I was right, so he came back to me because I was right on that. But we got a couple of things that we have to dive into today, guys. We have to get into some of these decisions the Browns made late in the game. We're going to get to it after a quick word from FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. G, you alluded to this earlier, but we had to talk about Kevin Stefanski. He decided to go for 2 the first time. It did not work. It was a botched snap and a fumble. On the second 2-point conversion play, it was a wild dog potential reverse, and maybe Quinshon Judkins forgot to play. Whatever it was, it did not work. It resulted in the running back, throwing the ball across the field 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So, G, I'll ask you this question first, and then, Bull, I want to hear your rebuttal. Do you believe Kevin Stefanski cost the Browns the game yesterday, G, by his decisions late in the fourth quarter?
Man, yeah. What are you talking about? Look, I get the debate, and guess what? I've talked to a bunch of people, some analytics guys, people that love analytics, and when I sat on the phone and text with them for 2 hours, way more than I should have probably texted, talking about the difference between why you go for 2 to start with that play if you're down 14. And we went round and round in circles. And I will agree with one thing. We ain't going to see eye to eye on it. Either you and that over there or you over here. Yep. Because it's like speaking Mandarin Chinese to each other, because I'm just like, bro, give yourself a chance to go to overtime. And they like, no, listen, if you're aggressive, we want to stand on the side of aggressiveness. That being aside, right? I'll let Jay and Bull argue about that. I know they got that's who cook. Jason, you can moderate that one. But the problem I got is this. This is malpractice, man. Last week I was upset about the 49ers game, and I was mad that Kevin Stefanski did not call a timeout when they were running the play inside their own 20 in bad weather, and they chose to run a tight end sneak. They fumbled the football when guys are running in and out of the game. And you turn the football over in a one possession, 2-point game that you're trying to fight to win, and you that right there, that puts you in a position where they are automatically going to score. You follow that up this week. Shedeur Sanders has led you down the field twice. He led you down the field. He put the ball on the money. The team is vibing. Everybody is excited. The Browns got the momentum. And you take your quarterback out. And not only did you take him out in one of the most pivotal times of the game, you take him out to run a play that was the most ridiculous play. I don't know what happened. What are you giving the ball to a running back doing reverse throw? I don't know if he forgot that he was supposed to hand it off, whatever the case may be. And I get it. Tommy Reese is calling the plays. For all the people say, hey, Tommy is calling the plays, he handed that over to Kevin Stefanski. It's out of pocket. That is the most crazy thing in the world. I'm the head coach. It ends and stops with you. If I'm running a 2-point conversion for my game to win, and I take my quarterback out, if that was Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, people would be going crazy. And I get the fact that he's not those guys at this particular point. But take it into context, the way he was playing, the way he was throwing the football, and putting your team in the best position to get a 2-point conversion, and that was the play you came up with. To me, it's always week after week. And this is before Shedeur Sanders. I was talking like this when they had Baker Mayfield. I was talking like this about Kevin Stefanski when they had Jacoby Brissett and Joe Flacco and whoever quarterbacks they had during that time period. I don't like that you're doing this cute stuff in crunch time and you take your quarterback out. That's the linchpin of what you're trying to do. And here's the thing. We spent all last week trying to tamp down noise about whether or not Sheduer was. His fans is telling you that Kevin Stefanski is sabotaging him. You're sabotaging Shedeur Sanders. And then when you're like, okay, we finally got over that, we keep it pushing. Then you do this? I can't even say nothing to you. I'm just like, well, here you go, have at it, bro. Because this looks crazy. Even seasoned veteran coaches and people in the media is like, what was that? I can't explain it. I don't understand why you would run that play. Guys, maybe I came in here today trying to figure out, maybe you can counsel me, but I just don't understand why your quarterback is out of the game, and that's the play you run in crunch time. I don't get it.
Well, you can't love it when it works and hate it when it doesn't work.
I don't love it when it works.
No, you sat here and said you loved having the wild dog or the wild whatever cat, whatever.
Not with 2 points for the game.
But, yeah, well, what difference is it if they're at the goal line getting ready to score?
Yeah, if you love it, you love it.
It's worked multiple times down there. But in this instance, because I do think you have to have a feel for the game, I do agree Sheduer should have been on the field. So the funny part is, like, two things can be true, right? Like, yeah, Sheduer should have been on the field, yet the design of the play was perfect. It's perfect. If Quinshon makes the pitch, he's a walk-in conversion. But a rookie made a rookie mistake because when you're counting on rookies are going to make rookie mistakes. And Quinshon just forgot to play and didn't make. I think just from I wasn't in the locker room.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah, I was 22. So I hated the play call for the record, and then when the all-22 came out this morning, I was like, oh, he was wide open.
It's a walk-in.
Oh, the play was going to work.
I
if
still
it was
hate
executed.
the fact they took Sheduer off the field.
Right.
I'm with you with
That's
that.
why I'm saying two things can be true.
Worked,
Yeah, right.
Like all he has to do is make the pitch, and it's a walk-in score.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, what put him in that spot was going for 2 the first time when Sheduer fumbles a snap. So again, it's a rookie making a rookie mistake. It's
now
a new center.
We couldn't really see on TV if he fumbled it or was a bad
the
snap.
center. Listen, here's what I'm gonna say. The center snap. The situation now, mind you, is Luke Whippler. It is snowing. It is a backup center. Coaches was out of the game. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen the play to see whether or not it was the quarterback that pulled out too quickly,
right,
or whether it was the center. So that was crazy.
By the way, speaking of which, note the fact that Shedeur Sanders is a championship level ass smacker. In when he's coming out,
is he?
It's a fact. He gives a hard smack of the
I
ass.
I haven't noticed that one way or another.
I noticed that. Check it out.
What was the first play?
You love
call?
it, G. Bush.
You guys can slug it out about whether or not they should have gone for it for 2. But I'm interested in knowing what was the play call. We never saw the play.
No, we don't know.
Fumbled the snap.
We have no idea.
Because if they convert that, it's a completely different conversation.
It is.
To me, it's silly to argue it because everybody, as G said, has already picked their camp about whether you go for 2
You either
or
think
not.
it's a good
You know
play
what's
or you
funny?
don't.
Okay. I'm with you.
Yeah.
99.9% of the time. In this instance, because G, you know this. When you're at the goal line, it's all on the offensive line.
Everything.
It is such a condensed area.
Right.
You got a 12-yard
That's why Philly's
area.
so good at that.
It is all red zone, but especially at the goal line. And when you look at what the Browns were dealing with their tackles have been atrocious all year long. You've got a new right guard for the first time yesterday. Now your center's out. So for that, I do think you at least have to pause and reconsider, is this the right time? Because normally, down 14, you score, you're down 8, go for 2, period.
Most teams do it
It's like blackjack. You split 8s. It doesn't matter what's on the other side, you split 8s. And I'm with that 99% of the time. Yesterday's the one time where it's like, man, I don't know. What changed everything is when they moved the extra point back. That's when teams started going for 2.
Right.
Because extra points are no longer a sure thing anymore.
Right.
Like that's
Still a high percentage, but not a guarantee.
Not a guarantee.
Yeah.
So 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, I'm in the go for 2 camp.
Yeah.
Yesterday, just because of what they were dealing with up front, they very clearly do not have confidence in running the ball at the goal line. They don't have confidence in this run game. That's why they keep going to the Wildcat.
Right.
Because they don't. Even if Shedeur's on the field, if all he's going to do is turn around and hand it off, you might as well have the extra blocker out there.
I like context. If I'm a coach or a player, I want my best player to have the rock.
Yep.
And yesterday, it was unequivocal. The best player the Cleveland Browns had was Shedeur Sanders. He got you in the goal line. There was times where it wasn't available. He scrambled and got in. He made great decisions on the goal line. He put the ball in on the money and 2 times in the back of in the corner of the end zone. So for me, I'm gonna roll with who brought me to the dance. At that point, I'm gonna put the ball in his hands. He got a run pass option. Now
play action to Quinshawn, throw it to Fannin in the end zone.
By the way, I throw to me in 2-point conversions. I'm going to throw the ball almost every time, unless my running game is dominating. I'm going to usually throw the ball there because it's like it's like 3 yards basically, especially where you're coming from. If you hand off, the running back's got to get 3 yards. That's not easy to do. So, but here's the thing: like I go into all these decisions, the numbers say like you should go for 2 in that situation. You have a better chance to win the game. Now, so my default, if I were a coach, would be to go for it in that situation. Now, I think once you get past the numbers, then you use the feel for the situation.
Where are we? What's
and
our
I get what you're saying about the situation. There was a little part of me that also thought, and I said it on my podcast last night, it's like, I understand why the anti-going for 2 people in this case were a little worked up.
I think it's silly to just come out and say kick the extra point. That's silly.
Right, yes.
The numbers do bear out.
Not anymore.
Yeah, they do.
No,
they
the
don't.
numbers bear out.
No, they
the
don't.
percentages bear out. If you go for 2 and you're down,
What do you mean? What does that even mean, not anymore?
Well, the numbers used to bear it out.
Yeah.
If statistics aren't updated,
Right.
statistics are useless. In fact, not only are they useless, they work against you.
Okay, so what is the update?
The old database was 48% conversion rate. The current database is 41%.
What do you mean the current? This season?
2024. The most recent data set we have, 2024.
Yeah.
The league is a breathing organism. It changes all of the time.
You're saying there's only been 41% of 2-point conversions?
I'm not saying that. That's the fact.
Is that the case?
That is the case.
But
So Jay, I understand what you're saying from a historical context, and NBC is the biggest abuser of this of all. They're constantly showing, and ESPN does this a lot too. Well, the analytics say go. The people I know that are truly analytical, and I mean not the NFL analytic crowd. I'm talking about the true statisticians, the people that crunch numbers for insurance companies, for instance, where it's life or death and money is made and lost on those numbers, actuaries. Those people will tell you that updated data sets are imperative to the information before you make a decision. And here's another reason why that logic is flawed. That logic is flawed because it doesn't take into account field conditions, defense that you're playing against, how your team does in those situations.
But nobody's not factoring into these decisions.
But Bull,
you're assuming that. No, you're assuming.
No, the book is on league averages.
Everybody. You think everybody follows the same book?
No, but Bull, what I'm saying is when we talk about these things and we say, well, the numbers say you got to go for it.
Right.
The old numbers said that it's a statistically okay play to go for it. And by the way, at 48%, you're still chasing points. That means you're getting it less than 1 in every 2.
You're trying to avoid overtime one.
I'm not. The game there. See, I'm not.
So, and that's my thought. My premise is you go at this and you're trying. I don't understand why people started trying to avoid overtime.
I don't either. That's my thinking. On this.
Like, do you not have faith in your team that you have the momentum? You go in overtime. Let's get it done.
That is the foundation for my decision on all of this, and I'm glad you went there because I know that there used to be this idea. Oh, you don't want to go to overtime. Here's why I do want to go to overtime. if I currently sit 14 points in the rears, for me to get to overtime means I have to have 2 touchdown drives and my defense has to come up with 2 stops. Which means your team is playing well defensively and your team is playing well offensively. Get me to overtime, please. I want overtime. You know what I feel like as fans we were robbed of something yesterday. I wanted to see Shedeur Sanders in overtime of a tied game when half the stadium emptied out with 8 minutes to go in the game. I wanted to see that.
Put the pressure on them.
Yes.
Hey, you just lost a 14-point lead.
Yes. Now you got to play us again.
And don't let us get the football.
And so, and that's the thing. Like, now there's a lot of factors. Like, I had one buddy say, hey, it's a win-win. If you don't get it and you get the loss, you help your overall greater cause with the draft. And I don't know that went into the thinking or not yesterday. I would hope it didn't.
Not going to the thing, no.
I would hope it didn't. But my silver lining was not getting to overtime well, we had a positive result in the draft column. But in terms of the numbers and the data set, I just think that, and I honestly believe that the league is starting to make its shift on use of analytics. I'm not saying abandon analytics. I'm not saying that at all. In fact, I am, if I had to be pro or anti-analytics, I would say that this is where I stand on this. I'm pro-analytics when used properly. And I think that in general, a lot of these decisions are made on huge and antiquated data sets. Last night during the Sunday Night Football game, what's that?
I doubt that's why would anybody, organizations use antiquated databases?
Well, if you're going to make the argument that statistically it's a good play to go for it,
right?
What
is the percentage this year, Mike? Do you know?
I couldn't find it.
For some reason, I can't find it.
I couldn't either.
I see individual teams. And
I got the Browns are 1 of 3.
Yeah.
Browns are 1 of 3. Yeah, the Jets lead the NFL with 5 2-point conversions this year.
Out of how many tries?
They're 5 of 8. So
okay, that's extraordinary.
The last 2 full seasons they have, Jay, you're right, 41% in 2024. It was 55% though conversion rate.
Okay,
in
so
yes, but here's what I'm saying, and I think that this is
so over the last 2 years, not including this year, it's about 47%,
which is still a bad play.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No,
Here's why.
An extra point is not 100%.
If you get if you do the math and you figure out the league's conversion rate on extra points. The fact that you have a higher percentage of getting 2 extra points than you do getting 1 2-point conversion, and that's what I'm saying. So
but it's a minimal difference. Whereas you're right, where you have a better chance of winning by getting a 2-point conversion the first time than you do. You have no chance to win if you just kick 2 extra points.
Now you're making a bet on an outcome. Okay, like you're right. Yeah. I will agree with that all day. If you convert that 2-point conversion, your chance of winning goes dramatically up.
Right.
What I'm saying here is, and this is a breathing thing. We're seeing it. We have more defense in the NFL this year than we've had in a long time. And I've said on this show since we started, it's been trending that way. Defenses have caught up. They have.
Is scoring down?
I don't know. This is anecdotally, but when I look at a team like the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills, who are rolling 40s every week, and watching them last night, I watched the Chiefs game. They scored 10 points.
I think
defenses are better today.
I think what we're missing is, as a head coach, your job is to take the pulse and temperature of your team.
Yeah.
And you can look at data and statistics, and other people may have different, points. Maybe they got receivers that they trust. Maybe they got 2-3 plays that they really believe in. Maybe the offensive line is running the ball great that day and they want to run it. To say that I'm going to go by the book means that you're going to
But who's saying they're going to go by the book?
Well, I'm just saying, most people who argue with this, they say the book says go by it because of the statistical data behind it.
Right.
What I'm saying is you got to take in consideration a number of things when you're making that play. You have to take in consideration the time that you guys have, the football, the quarterback, how you're playing, the weather, all of those things.
But don't you think teams take that into account? If a coach doesn't take that into account, he should be fired.
Well, what I'm saying is
those things. And by the way, if the Browns make that 2-point conversion, here's why I'm confident that I'm right about this: is because this never gets brought up when it works.
So that's
never.
True.
No, but it only gets brought up when it doesn't work.
Which is actually more than it works.
But here's the point.
Last year, the year before, it wasn't.
But here,
okay, but
when you guys
last year it went down 14%.
Okay, things have been flowing.
Well, that tells me that defense
stock
has put
market
a
has
much
bad years.
greater
Hold on,
effort.
hold on.
Yes, it does, but it also says that defenses have prioritized that play.
But what we're talking about is it's a double compounded issue. You compounded the fact that, forget the fact that you went for it or whatever, didn't get it. They compounded the issue by going for 2, having a terrible play-in, and keeping your best player off the field.
Well,
all those things work against you.
That's a separate argument.
That is a separate argument.
It's 2 different arguments.
But
I
G's
did
right
not like
in
the
that
play. I did not like the play call. I don't. To me, if I'm trying to tie the game to set, at the end of the game, I'm not running a trick play. And even though it has worked, I'm not as high. I haven't been as high as those guys have been. But I would not have run a trick play in that situation.
To Jay's point, though. I agree with you. Like, if you don't have a play that you can run and just our best against your best, that's where the Browns are right now. They don't.
Well, and it feels
they're not
like,
going to win that.
I don't have the numbers. I should have looked this up. It feels like Kevin's going for it less on 4th down this year than he has in the past.
I feel like he is too.
Because of the personnel.
I
Because he
agree.
doesn't have faith in the
But he has.
Because the offense sucks.
Yep.
So that goes back to
The offense didn't suck yesterday.
No, it didn't. But can you get
I mean, the Niners are the Titans are one of the worst team in
If
the
you have
league.
to rely on
short yardage.
If you're at the 40, a playbook looks a whole lot different than if you're at the 3. If you're at the 2 or the 3.
100%.
And that's why
the field is
and
condensed.
that's why it goes back to the offensive line. And you have to, if they had a better offensive line,
yeah, let's go.
I would say I would be right with Bull on
I would too.
Go for the 2. No, you wouldn't. You
If
never
I'm-
like going for
listen,
2.
No.
if I'm feeling Jay, you're not hearing what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to look at every
Yes.
set of circumstances.
Yes.
If I'm Sirianni and I'm
But you
coaching Philly,
scream about this every time it comes up.
listen,
Yes.
because I'm talking about the Browns every time. Do I have
that's not
confidence
true.
that the Browns can get 2 or 3 yards on a play? I just don't. Like with Philly, and I know that even this year, Detroit's 4th down conversion is way down. And you can look at them, they're still going to probably make the playoffs. They're not having the year that they had before, but their coach just rolls the dice. Every time he's going to roll the dice. Sometimes you win with those rolls.
Right.
Sometimes you lose with
Correct.
those rolls. I think the number one factor in making decisions as to going for it on 4th and 1 or going for 2 instead of 1, what do you have?
Yeah.
If you
That's why
statistically
I'm-
have the 31st ranked offense,
Well,
they're
yeah.
not going to convert at 41%.
That's why this one is so hard for me because of this. It really comes down to the offensive line. It's not the receivers. It's not the quarterback. It's really the offensive line. Can you get the push that you need at the goal line?
Can I ask you
And-
this?
And
Does
with
it-
the state of their line,
Would it make a difference for you if this were a playoff game?
I don't know. I don't know.
You're not sure?
Yeah, I don't know.
It'd be World War VII. People would be going
in
crazy.
a playoff situation.
People would be going crazy.
If he had done yesterday, and by the way, I think the way the game went yesterday, I think this is the end of the Kevin Stefanski era. I just do. I can no longer advocate for him remaining as the head coach. And that hurts me to say that because I do think he's a good coach.
Isn't the play call the Tommy Reese's fault?
yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what I liked, though, yesterday? Kevin Stefanski says, nope, that was my call.
Well, because he's going to fall on the sword.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. A
mean,
lot of
you
other
got-
coaches said, I didn't make that call.
Now,
I
Kevin,
don't know why we can't find 2-point conversion numbers for this year.
Kevin can't-
So
Well,
annoying.
Well, you can, but it's a long route. What you have to do is you have to go team by team and add them up.
Yeah.
Kevin can veto the play call, but you got like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You got like 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah, he could've.
And it's not like we're acting like yesterday's the first time they ran this. They've been running this all year in
And-
practice.
But you just talked about circumstances. I don't like running. If you're,
I'm not defending
if
it.
you're
I don't think
playing
they should have
against
run it. But I'm saying we're acting like they've never done this before.
No, I know. I don't think you need to when Shedeur Sanders is playing well, he had played great down the stretch.
He should
and
be
by
on
the
the
way,
field.
for all the people saying the conspiracy theories, well, you could say that Kevin Stefanski showed a lot of faith in Shedeur Sanders by having him to go for 2 the first time with them down 14 instead of taking him off the field and kicking the extra.
I think, yeah.
He believed in him. So now,
Bull, would it have mattered to you if it was a playoff game and he
Yes.
did that?
I would have still gone for it.
You still
For
would've
me,
gone for it?
yes. In most scenarios,
I
I think that's the default option to me is to go for 2. I want to win the game. I want to have a better chance. What gives me the better chance to win the game? And I think that's going for 2.
All right, we got our guests, guys, so let's put a pause on this. We're going to bring in Daniel Oyefusi here in 1 second. After a quick word from Game Time, the World Cup is coming back to North America for the first time since 1994 with 48 teams. It's the first time ever. It's the biggest World Cup ever, and let's be honest, getting tickets is going to be the hardest part. That's why Game Time is clutch, giving fans a real advantage when it comes to snagging seats. With Game Time, you can track ticket price drops in real time, get alerts when great seats open, and buy tickets the moment they hit the app. It puts the power back in your hands, making going to the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. Take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets and every match, concert, or event with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKDOWNNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, just download the account, make a code, and use promo code LOCKDOWNNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go. Download Game Time today. And with that, we are thrilled to welcome in ESPN Browns beat reporter Daniel Oyefusi to the show. Daniel was at the game yesterday. How you doing today, Daniel?
Doing good. Doing good. Thanks for having me.
I wish we had something to talk about.
Right. Born Monday. Born Monday.
Yeah, the good thing is there's never a lack of things to talk about. Daniel, let's start with your overall impressions. We started the show by giving a grade for Shedeur Sanders. What did you have him at yesterday overall?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to give him a strong A. Now, was he perfect? No. I think, that interception that he threw in the third quarter, late in the third quarter, really kind of turned the tide and shifted the momentum. But I think every week we've seen improvements. And I think that late in that game when you needed him to really rise to the occasion, he did. So, you're kind of grading on a curve and, grading based off the circumstances. I have to give him an A just for the way that he's improving little parts of his game every week, and then coming in big when they needed it most.
Daniel, it's hard for us to kind of tell. You hear things different, things either way. But when you look at Shedeur Sanders, how do you feel like the players are gravitating to him? We talked about on this show. Sometimes he's a lightning rod outside in terms of the media and the fan base. He generates a lot of buzz in-house. How do you feel like they're gravitating to him and as him being a leader? And do you think that has also progressed over the first three games that he started?
Yeah, well, I would say that I think that his teammates are gravitating to him, and he noted that it's a little bit different. For him, being the backup and being the third quarterback for a long part of this season. But now that he's in that starting role, he's really allowed to kind of like be himself. He doesn't have to make press parts of his personality. He talks about around sometimes, but he can also get serious as well. So being in that starting role is kind of giving him that agency and that power to really lead in his unique fashion. And I think at the end of the day, like, guys want somebody who they think is going to be able to lead them and make plays. I think that you're seeing it from the vets. I think you're seeing it from the most tenured vet on the team, Joe Batonio. He says, like, I told him after the game, like, you're a competitor and I appreciate that. Like, you're fighting to the very end. He's shown that he can make plays. At the end of the day, like, they want a guy that they think that they can go out there and win with. And I think that, through 3 starts so far, one being a win and 2 some tough losses, despite that, I think he's shown that he can make plays and lead these guys to wins. I think that's what they gravitate to really at the end of the day.
Daniel, what stood out the most to me yesterday was I thought it was the first time all season that the quarterback lifted the play of the rest of the team, right? I thought the line pass blocked. I thought the pass blocking, considering how many injuries there were, I thought it was very good. We looked like we had a legitimate group of pass catchers yesterday, and I thought he really picked them up with some great anticipatory throws, and guys were on the same page for the most part. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do, and I think that it goes back to what I was talking about like them making Sheduer making those strides from game to game. So like when he went in the second half of the Baltimore game, like he looked like a 5th round pick who hadn't gotten a ton of reps with the first team offense. And then you go to the Raiders game where you see a little more comfort, you see the natural playmaking ability, and then you go to the 49ers game, which I thought that like was a little bit shaky in terms of him leaving plays on the field. And he talked about how he needs to feel confident to let it rip. We didn't see him hesitate in that Titans game. You saw a lot of confidence, and you saw the accumulation of those reps, as well as like these little things like the pocket management that even Kevin Stefanski talked about. Him knowing when to give up on a play. I thought that was like honestly one of the underrated parts of his game yesterday out, he would buy some time, but there were a couple of third downs where he just threw the ball away and he was like, we'll live to see another down. So again, you're seeing that gradual progression that it really leads you to believe that the outlook could be bright for Shedeur Sanders.
Danny, we've been slugging it out for 15 minutes over the 2-point conversions. Just the idea to go for it down 8.
Forget the play call itself, but just put
that aside. Just the idea to go for 2 down 8. Where do you fall on that? Are you analytics or are you non-analytics?
I mean, I'm usually an analytics guy, and I guess like there's like the down 8 test. You know, you're play to win the game. Like that's really what the analytics say. You play to win the game, and the thought process that you're going to get at least one of those 2-point conversions. So if you get the first one, then hey, all you need is a extra point to win the game. But if not, you know, the thought process is that you're going to get at least one of those 2. So if you get the second one, then you're at least tying it and you're going to overtime. Really, for me, it's like the like having a feel, and it's like Kevin Stefanski isn't calling plays. Tommy Reese is. Like, he hasn't been calling plays since week 10. So, you know, if you're in that CEO role as a head coach, like, it's like I need you to be like really locked in, situational football, having a feel for the game, and which is why I specifically wanted to ask Kevin about the process of calling that Wildcat play. And he said that before they even scored, like when they were driving down the field, it was already set in stone that they were going to run that Wildcat play. So that leads me to believe that, like, okay, well, there was no room for you know, just having a feel for the game and saying, like, hey, I've got this, I'll be a rookie quarterback that is hot. He's been driving them down the field the last two possessions. Like, hey, let's keep the ball in his hands. Hail Fannin, they haven't been able to cover him all game. Let's try to draw something up. The play in itself, I don't think was terrible, because they run the Wildcat formation throughout, you know, the season at various points. I mean, usually it's just a direct snap and they run like a power or just right up the middle, but they kind of ran a variation of it with the reverse. And for whatever reason, you know, the execution wasn't there. I don't know if Quinchon had an option to hand it off on the pitch on the reverse, or if it was like, you know, he was just supposed to keep. I don't know. We haven't heard yet. So like, obviously now that the play fails, everyone's gonna pile on it. But, you know, in theory, like, the process wasn't awful. But, you know, I just kind of think, like, in that moment, there has to be some wiggle room for, like, you know, the circumstances of the game and how things have been trending. And yeah, like, in that moment, I would have kept the ball and Sheduer saying sure.
I want to know what the first 2-point conversion was.
Yeah, so do I.
Like, honestly, we didn't ever see it because they fumbled the snap. Yeah. But, I mean, this could be a completely different conversation if that one worked.
No, exactly. And I mean, Joel said that both of those plays were plays that they had run, you know, every Friday throughout the season. He said that they ran it against Philly in joint practices. So then I started racking my brain trying to think, because I remember I remember Kevin was practicing some trick plays in Philly. So then I was trying to think of like what they could have been doing there. I know there was like a little double pass for Harold Fannin that they did back then. I don't know, but at the end of the day, you know, like, this is a results-based business. So at the end of the day, like, you see 2 failed conversions, a 31-29 loss, and now the pitchforks are out, and like that's the nature of the business. But yeah, I mean, hindsight is, you know, whatever. Like, I probably would have given the ball to Sheduer in that moment, but they didn't, and now they have to live with the results.
Daniel, let's talk about the defense here. Myles Garrett did get his 1 sack to get to 20, leaving him just 2.5 away from tying, 3 from beating the record. But the defense arguably played its worst game of the year against an offense that had been the worst in football. Tony Pollard, who looked like he's washed up the last 2 years, ran all over the Browns yesterday. How big a factor do you think Malik Collins not playing was in all of this, of all the struggles of defense, but especially the running game?
Yeah, I was rewatching the game this morning, and I couldn't help but think, like, you know, was there maybe like a trickle-down effect? Because without him, you had, you know, Mason Graham kind of playing he was playing 45 snaps, but then you had Shelby Harris, Mike Hall, Sam Kamara, like, all those guys played season-high snaps. I don't want to say, like, he had, I mean, I don't think you just take Malik Collins out of the lineup and then they run for 160 or whatever it was yards on the ground. Like, I don't think it was that pronounced. But I do think that, you know, you did see a little bit of that. I honestly, like, I just got to give credit to the Titans. That really smart game plan in terms of, you know, really starting with what they did against to neutralize Myles. You know, always having a chip, getting the ball out very, very quickly. At times they ran, you know, to him, and they kind of used his aggressiveness against them. And it was just really a bad day at the office for, what was really like the best run defense in the NFL entering that game. Obviously, Malik Collins would have helped, but I don't want to say that, you take him out and then, running for 160 yards or allowing 160 yards is acceptable. It's not.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
The game plan was good. It was smart. They took advantage of Myles Garrett's over-aggressive motor. They knew he came in wanting to get the sack. He was asked in pregame about getting the sack record as he stood 4 away. So it's obviously front of mind for not just fans, but for Myles. I mean, he was talking about it. Yeah. And I think his over-aggressiveness, they were running at him a lot, and oftentimes it was like 2 trains passing in the subway. Myles was zooming to the quarterback, and the quarterback had already given off the ball to a running back who was gashing him right past Myles' side. And look, when you got nothing but records to play for and you're not going for wins, I think that's probably going to happen. Do you think he gets the record, Daniel?
I do. I was kind of selfishly hoping he just kind of knocked it out the way. Last Sunday, I wrote a story on it. I was kind of asking him about that on Friday. So I was hoping all right, he got 4 and we can kind of move on. But now it's all right, it starts to get a little dicey with 4 games left. You need 3 sacks. The next game is against the Bears offensive line and a quarterback in Caleb Williams that's been sacked, I think 4th fewest in the NFL, only 20 times. So It's going to get a little bit tougher. You got Aaron Rodgers who gets the ball out quickly. I don't think he had a sack against the Steelers the last time they played. Josh Allen, who. Yeah. So it's going to get a little bit dicey, but I do think that he's been on such a tear the past couple of weeks. I think that he gets to it. It might get a little close, but I think he gets
Josh
it.
Allen's been sacked a lot this year, surprisingly.
Yes,
but
he's going to run it too.
Thanks, Daniel.
He's got 4 games to get 3. Daniel, thanks. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Appreciate you, man.
See you, buddy.
Sure. Anytime.
That was Daniel Oyefusi, ESPN's beat reporter. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. Great insight from Daniel. Guys, we're going to get back, talk a little more defense now after a reminder that Aura Frames is a proud sponsor of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. The holidays are officially here, which means gift hunting season is on. And if you want something meaningful, personal, and guaranteed to get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every time. It's not just something you wrap, it's a way to share memories because Aura isn't just your average frame. You can preload the frame with photos before gifting it, so when they plug it in, the memories are already there. No apps to figure it out, no setup headaches, just instant smiles. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by using auraframes.com and getting 35% off their best-selling Carve mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, using promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. That's Aura Frames, AURA Frames.com. Promo code LOCKEDON NFL. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and the frames sell out fast. So orders your now to get it on time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. All right, guys, we got to talk a little defense and a little rookies here. The defense, as you mentioned, Bull, got gashed by the Titans' running game. Tony Pollard went crazy, 160-plus yards. We have mentioned this defense in the elite category at different times this season. But, Bull, after what we saw them do against Tennessee, is that fair, or can we no longer put them in that elite category?
I did not put them in elite. I said this 2 years ago when people were going nuts. There's no elite defenses anymore in the NFL. There's very good defenses, and the Browns are a very good defense that played very poorly yesterday across the board. You want to say, well, the offense in the third quarter put them in a tough spot. Sheduer fumbled, through the interception, and Dylan Sampson fumbled. That was a terrible fumble, by the way. You can't just get the ball knocked out of your hands like that. That's terrible. But I don't care. If they were playing a good, if we're going to hold, for the people that are going to hold the Titans being bad against Shedeur Sanders, well, then you can't give the defense a pass for not being able to stop Tennessee with a short field because the Titans have the worst offense in football. So even on a short field, the Browns defense, if they were playing well, could have held those 2 turnovers to field goals, but they weren't. They were touchdowns. The defense was terrible yesterday. Absolutely awful performance. They were really bad in the first quarter. The Titans were just marching the ball up and down the field. Now, I thought Cam Ward played better than the numbers will say.
I agree with that.
I was impressed. He wasn't as good as Sheduer, of course, but he's also playing against a better defense. But I thought he played pretty well. The numbers look bad.
He executed the game plan.
I think he's pretty good. I think the Titans would be stupid to move away from him. They have no talent around him.
He had about 4 throws.
That
was
you got to put some talent around him. He's got
you
nothing.
can tell there's something.
Yeah.
There's something there, no doubt.
He missed a couple of throws by this much that could have been big time, and he was. And by the way, the most impressive thing is the fact that he was getting out of sacks, throwing the football away, didn't really put the ball in harm's way that much. But
how about
He
that
got
one
on a
play?
sack was Houdini.
When Grant Delpit,
He shook him like
that
a
was like a
kid.
Roethlisberger right
I thought
there.
they should have blown it dead. I thought he was in the grasp.
I thought they were going to blow it.
and
There.
he was
The
like,
grasp
nope.
wasn't really a thing anymore.
I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway, the defense.
When
I mean, the
forward
defense
progress
was
is stopped.
atrocious. Yes, they used Myles Garrett's aggressiveness against him, and that was a great game plan. I'm not going to kill Myles Garrett for that. He's been great against the run all year.
has.
It didn't work this week. What?
No, I agree with you.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, there were not a lot. Like Devin Bush, the pick was a nice play by Devin Bush. That was a really good play by him. But overall, we just didn't get the impact plays that we're used to from the defense. And Denzel Ward got hurt in the game, which
That
certainly
hurt us.
hurts.
Yeah.
And McNuggets, I'll come to your defense. Well, I wasn't here last week, so that wasn't on me. We was in the post game show, and McNuggets is like, man, this is what I'm talking about. I put all the time and effort into these stats. I'll be trying to tell y'all. And I told you about Malik Collins, and y'all didn't say nothing about it. You skimmed right over it. Y'all didn't even watch that video. Well, Mikey McNuggets has been vindicated today because, boy, Malik Collins was sorely missed in the middle of that defense. Malik Collins, what he allows you to do as a defensive tackle is you're not going to be pulling and doing all the mental gymnastics with backside tackles and all that other stuff, pulling around and running all that reverse motion and stuff, because Malik Collins is in your backfield. He is a game disruptor. He is a disruptor in the run game as well as the pass game. And you saw a precipitous drop in the level of gameplay from your defensive tackles. Mike Hall Jr. played a bad game. Shelby Harris played a bad game. And Shelby Harris he aged right before our very eyes. We see that he's not a person that's supposed to be taking up all those reps. And then Mason Graham was quiet and disappeared. But then again, Mason Graham is not a guy at this point of his career that you're going to put in the middle of your defense and say, oh, you're not about to run this football. He's just not there strength-wise. He's not there size-wise at this point. So you saw what the Malik Collins miss did, and there was a few times where you saw guards and centers be able to climb to the next level and be on Carson Schwesigner. It was the first time this year I started to see, I said, oh, they got linemen on Schwesigner in the second level?
Yeah.
Usually he's sideline to sideline because they have to pay attention to Malik Collins.
Gee, obviously it was a factor, but I agree with Daniel. You can't use that as an excuse for why it was as bad as it was. It was a factor, but not the only factor.
No, I think it's 50-50, boy. I think that had a lot to do with it. But I think the game plan, I like Miles' post-game comments. He was I thought he was very transparent when he said, look, we thought we were going to come out here today and pin our ears back and get after the quarterback. But the fact of the matter is, and we were aggressive, but the fact of the matter is you have to earn that right. Well, how do you earn that right?
Stop the run.
Put them down by 2 touchdowns.
You got to stop the run.
Put them into passing. Yeah, when you stop the run,
then you can eat.
You now can get the sacks and start to get the flashy plays on defense because you forced the quarterback to throw the football. It was early. I thought early on it was frustrating for Miles because it felt like it doesn't matter what I do, the ball's out of his hand before I even get close to him. And that was, I credit the Titans for their game plan. It was a wonderful game plan.
They kicked our tails.
It was executed perfectly. Their quarterback wasn't flashy throughout the game. He threw a lot of balls away, but he pretty much made it a concerted effort. Myles Garrett is not going to get me on the grass, and I'm not going to spend all day getting myself up off the ground.
Right.
And because of that, they were able to win the game.
Real quick, and I'm curious, G, did you go back and watch the All 22 yet? Have you gone through?
No, I haven't seen it all yet.
I watched all the Sheduers. I watched I didn't get to the defense yet. Miles was lining up super wide, which he usually does. I thought he was even wider on some plays than usual. And it feels like a couple of those, they called it the swinging door play. I'm not exactly sure the terminology on pulling linemen and all that, but it feels like they kind of ran into the hole that Miles vacated when he gets upfield and pass rushes from that spot. And I'm curious when we go through and we watch the defensive all 22. Of his 160 yards, I'm going to guess, and we'll find out when the tape shows, 120 of those came running right into the area vacated by Miles.
I mean, I told you this a year ago. I've heard from other teams, all you got to do is just run right through the gap Miles vacates because Miles is just worried about sacks. Now, having said that, he's done a much better job this year against the run. But I think getting close to the sack record, all the talk about this probably played into that.
And that's not going to go away the rest of the year.
And yesterday felt like a return to what, I told you it a year ago. That's one of the scouting reports is, you can just run right through the hole that Miles vacates. But also, I also think, I've said this all year, this is a good defense. I think this defense, I don't want this to get twisted. It is a good defense. I think it has been overrated by the fact that teams don't ever have to do anything against them because they just wait for the Browns to be the Browns. But when this defense really needed a stop against Minnesota, did they get it? No.
Against the bad Minnesota offense.
When they needed a stop against the Jets, did they get it?
Bad offense.
No.
If you would have told me, though, going into this game that the Browns were going to score 29 and we were going to lose,
I know.
I wouldn't have taken that bet on anything.
This is a good defense. This is a good defense.
Good.
It is a very good defensive line. Malik Collins, yes, that absence hurts, of course. I think this defense has been built up to be better than what it is because they haven't been tested, and the times that they have been tested, they have not delivered.
I think sometimes we boil it down to whether or not somebody is good or somebody is bad. I think we gotta come to the
extremes again.
It's right. Like, guess what, guys? This is the NFL. Any given week, you come out there, you can lose to the worst team. They had a better game plan. They ran the football. Those guys get paid too. Yeah, Malik Collins was out. Yeah, Myles Garrett is going for the sack record. But my coach used to always tell us, man, listen, if you getting off double teams, ain't nobody getting no sacks. If they running power, they running zone at you, and they got double teaming you to the next level, I ain't seen a man get a sack yet on run plays. So they came in and they said, we're going to establish the run. And I knew it was going to be a problem because the Titans were playing moving the line of scrimmage. When the Browns are good, they change the line of scrimmage. And that way, when you run the football, the running back, his momentum is stopped in the backfield before he can make a decision. The Titans changed the line of scrimmage. They were moving people, and what Pollard was doing was falling forward. He would be there. He wouldn't get touched till after 2 yards, fall 4 for 3. Yeah, and he didn't get touched for 4. Now, all of a sudden, you in the secondary, and I don't care who you is. Listen, safeties, they ain't supposed to be up there tackling all that time. So I like the game plan they had. They executed their game plan for the most part. They didn't turn the ball over. And the Titans, whether you want to think they're good or not, it's their league. Everybody can get touched any given week.
Yeah, I love what you said there. We always try to put everybody, players, teams, units in camps. They're great, they're awful. The fact of the matter is there's about 3 or 4 that are great, and there's about 3 or 4 that are awful, and there's about 24 of them that are just in the middle.
Fluctuate.
They fluctuate. It's a week-to-week league, isn't it? I mean, and this team can beat Green Bay and can lose to the Titans. Go figure.
That's why NFL is fun, right?
It is. It makes it interesting because you just don't know.
It's the best league in sports. We have 82 minutes into the show. We have not given enough credit to 2 players individual on the Browns, who we're going to do after a quick word from a Home Builders Association. Give big this year with a Home for the Holidays raffle. You have a chance to win a beautiful new custom home or a cash prize this holiday season and help make wishes come true for Make-A-Wish kids with critical illnesses. Raffle proceeds benefit Make-A-Wish OKI, which has granted over 22,000 wishes to children facing critical illnesses all across Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana since 1983. This year's house is a custom-built ranch by Petros Homes. Has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and a 3-car garage. Just visit ahomefortheholidays.org to buy your tickets. That's ahomefortheholidays.org. Terms and conditions apply. All right, guys, it's time for the rookie report. And Sheduer, we made a whole 35-minute topic off the top, so we talked him at length. But Harold Fannin was incredible yesterday, guys. His best game as a rookie, over 100 yards. It's the first triple-digit receiving yard game for a Browns receiver this season. I want to start with you on this one, Bull, but Harold Fannin, everything and then some, including the touchdown at the end where he mossed the Titans defensive back to bring the Browns in a position to tie it up. Obviously, the 2-point conversion didn't work, but he was incredible yesterday.
By the way, the Browns can't do anything right because they put out David Njoku as their Pro Bowl nominee at tight end and not Harold Fannin,
which is a head
which
scratcher.
is ridiculous. Harold Fannin was sensational in the game yesterday. He and Sheduer have a great connection.
They do.
You saw it right off the bat in a big spot. I need a first down. I'm in the red zone. I'm in a third and short situation. He's looking for Fannin first. And, early in the season, Fannin had some drop issues. And not that he's never going to drop the ball. I think he had a drop last week, if I remember. But for the most part, he's really improved already. And you talk about a guy who was playing at a lower level of Division I football at Bowling Green.
Easy,
no offense,
easy,
guys. No offense.
easy.
Wow, easy. He just trampled on your
big fella.
resume.
Big fella. Come on now.
I'm saying, like, I'm not.
Isn't that where Ben Roethlisberger played, bro?
Yeah.
Well, he's a MAC guy.
He's not playing LSU every
Exactly.
week.
No, but when he played Penn State and Texas A&M, he got over 100 yards both times.
Right, but the point is, like, he wasn't playing with NFL teammates.
That's
so
fair.
There's further.
That's
There
fair.
was further for him to go, and like what's his yardage now for the season? 6-something.
619 to lead the team.
Yeah, so let's say he finishes with, I don't know, 800 yards.
Very
850.
doable. Very doable.
Right, as a rookie tight end on a bad team, that's amazing.
He's already set the record for Browns rookies, right?
Yeah.
Past Ozzie Newsome, he is now the Browns single-season rookie tight end receiving.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
leader.
He's going
great.
to break a lot of Ozzy's records before he's done.
may end up being their best tight end since Ozzie Newsome.
I think he will be.
He looks tremendous. If he stays healthy, this guy is just, what a talent he is. And what a weapon, because, that's a position where half the teams in the league really don't have anybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if
it's a bonus that you get something out of it.
I mean, that's huge to have that. And I think, obviously they got all kinds of cap issues. I know they like a lot of tight ends, but I would let David Njoku walk. I'm not paying him anything.
I would think that's
And this is my guy. I want this guy to be my tight end for the next decade.
This
He's
guy,
tremendous.
the most, I think after quarterback, everybody knows quarterback is the most difficult to adjust to. But a lot of people, a lot of scouts, a lot of people, GMs and coaches will say the most difficult position to really acclimate yourself to is tight end, because you have to do two things. Think about when David Njoku was here. It took him years to figure out how it was that I had to go about being a blocker, understanding how, because you got to run routes. You got to know the route tree. You got to know the nuances of finding zone coverage and figuring that out. You got to block. You got to have he's in motion all the time. And the fact that he's able to only be able to handle that from a physical standpoint, but a mental standpoint, shows a lot. I mean, he, in the biggest accomplishment, he just became the most famous Camp McKinley Bulldog. You eclipsed G. Bush. I cannot believe it, Harold. You came out of nowhere and just came. No, I'm playing, joking, but this guy, shout out to him being a Bulldog, shout out to him being a Mac dude. But the most impressive thing for me is I love the way when he catches the ball. I don't know where this comes from. Maybe he is a dog. He is a dog after all. He does not let one person tackle him.
Never.
No.
He feels this disrespect. Like, you brought one guy, you better get more people to come to the party, because it's going to be a long day if you think these corners and DBs going to tackle me.
He's going to take his pound of flesh.
And you can dump it off to him. And I thought Sheduer did a great job of doing that with Jerome Ford, Dylan Sampson, and him by saying, let me get the ball to these guys and let them work.
By the way.
Hey, Bo, real quick on the yak thing, because I was going to bring this up earlier.
Yeah.
After yesterday, well, he had 60 yak yards yesterday, by the way. He had 114 yards, 60 were yak.
Right.
That brings his season total up to 329 yak yards. That is the fifth most among all tight ends in the NFL.
And it's more than half of his yards.
Guys, he is already, I didn't think it would be this high. I knew it would be higher than maybe you'd think, but he has the 17th most yards by a rookie tight end in the history of football.
And we've got 4 games to go.
Tell me what you think. What you think he'll end up with yardage?
I think he's going to get to 900.
900.
Okay.
What do we got? How many games?
He's at
4 games
638. If he averages 60 yards a game, that gives him 320.
Yeah.
Added to what he's got there, that's 958.
Okay. Jeremy Shockey is 4th all time in receiving yards by a tight end as a rookie.
Yeah.
4th all time, 894. So if he gets
put him
895
top
or more, he will. There's 3.
Top 5.
Brock Bowers last year is the most.
Yeah.
And then Mike Ditka in 61 had
That's
1,078.
That's it.
crazy.
That's
and
it.
then, actually, the third guy's been a disappointment in the league, but he was good as a rookie. Kyle Pitts. actually.
Yeah, Pitts was
Yes.
highly
At
regarded and had a good
1,026. And that's it. I mean, there's only 7 players in the history of the NFL
where was
with
Bowers?
more than 726 receiving yards as a tight end.
Where
Only
was Bowers
7.
drafted?
Bowers was drafted in the first round.
Top 10.
So
And-
Pitts was the first round.
Pitts was a first round
Bowers
pick.
was a first rounder.
Shockey was a first round pick.
Shockey was a first rounder.
Laporta is 5th all time. I think he was a second round
He
pick.
was a second or third
You know,
round pick.
G, your point about that's a position where a lot is asked of you. Yesterday, I saw him, and I've seen him do this in other games so far this year too. I saw him shimmy shake a corner, and I saw him steamroll a corner.
Yeah.
So you're talking about, and what makes these great tight ends is a diverse skill set. We saw it with Travis Kelce, Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski. These guys had the ability to run with corners, which is rare. These are big guys. Yeah. But yesterday, he had a couple routes where he was isolated with corners, and he got open.
They threw a fade to this man.
Fade to him. And by the way, my favorite moment of yesterday's game was the energy that he came up with after that touchdown catch.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I saw at Bowling Green. One of the things that I saw, aside from the ability to get open and to run with the football after his first contact, the other thing that I thought separated him at BG was he was the fire. He was, how many teams can you say that the tight end's the fire to the offense?
Yeah.
This guy was the fire. It was constantly stoking. And when this team, I'm telling you, when they get good, and I feel more confident right now in this moment that within the next 3 years, we're going to be a competitive team.
2029!
That's the year.
All right.
But I honestly feel like the building blocks are in place. The rookie classes the rookie class that is in place right now, if you can duplicate that one of the next 2 years, it makes me greatly excited to think of him catching a touchdown pass in the end zone against Pittsburgh in Week 17 to win the division. And the fire that he is going to have for that moment and how that's going to absolutely catch the entire stadium on fire. Yesterday it was lost because there were 25,000 people there.
Well, it hasn't happened. It's never happened in Mike's lifetime and Anthony's lifetime. G. Bush was about 5 the last time the Browns won the division. God. So it would be good for all of us.
What was the last time?
89. Oh, no, I was kind of old. I was like 8.
Are you right?
Other rookie we got to mention real quick. Schwesigner, 13 tackles yesterday, a pass breakup. G, I know you mentioned in the run game
every week.
Offensive linemen were able to kind of get up and get into him a little more, but I do want to mention he's the first
what happened?
Rookie offensive lineman able to get up into the second level and block him.
I was just checking.
He's the first rookie with 100 tackles this season. He's top 5 in the NFL in tackles with 118 now. And on another week, it's another time where Carson Schwesigner looks like an absolute
Where is he in the tackle race? Third?
I didn't actually think he played a great game yesterday. He was fine.
You know,
tackles, just having tackles alone doesn't mean you had a great game.
I mean, but it's a lot of tackles.
There's more to it than that, but it means
I didn't think he made an impact, a big impact on the game, even though he had a million.
How far behind the leader is he?
Jordan Brooks is 142.
Jeez.
And he has
had a tremendous year, no doubt.
Okay. I'm gonna ask the question because we're gonna get to this. I mean, we just named. I heard somebody, I don't forget who it was, a former player say, this is the greatest draft class we've seen in 20 years.
It is. It's not hyperbole.
For the Browns.
Yes.
Is that hyperbole?
For the Browns?
It's not hyperbole.
No, I'm talking about
the greatest draft class ever.
No.
Any team?
He's saying it's one of the greatest draft classes of any team.
Honestly,
in 20 years.
Sheduer will determine that.
If
Shedeur ends up being a franchise quarterback, then that might be true.
And I think he was saying it because he did throw for 360 or something, but he was saying like, they didn't, if you're not expecting like a 5th round pick to do that, but you just talked about the tight end game that Harold Fannin is having in an all-time year. You talk about Carson Schwesigner and being in the top 10 in tackles. We haven't said nothing about Quishon Judkins, and he had a big-time play yesterday.
You know why Sheduer, can you put that back up, what you just had up? Sheduer makes a difference in that because it's a defensive tackle, it's a linebacker, it's 2 running backs. But if you have a franchise quarterback in the 5th round, that puts it over the top. But these are not, it's not left tackle receiver.
Without going through the list of all the drafts by every team, my first inclination would be saying no. And first of all, you got to see it for more than a year to know that for sure. But I agree. If Shedeur ends up being, if yesterday becomes any kind of norm for him and he's the guy, then this is beyond this land. By the way, if Shedeur is the guy, if he is, will we still look back and say, what were they thinking taking Dylan Gabriel? Or will we just forget about it because...
Well, I think we're already able to say that.
Yeah.
What were they thinking taking Dylan Gabriel?
Well, but what I'm saying is, if Shedeur's great, then will we even care?
No, we won't care, but
they could have still taken an offensive lineman or a wide receiver.
Right? That's exactly. But you know what? Let's
if Shedeur ends up being the guy, then that won't matter.
I've always said I would yearn for the day where we all come in here every single week and it's a consensus that we know who the starting quarterback is and we know that he's good. And I always tell Bull this as a Bengals guy, right, as a person who watches the Bengals, when the schedule is released, he goes down that schedule, and every single year he thinks they can win all these games. When Josh Allen is with the Bills, every single year they look at the schedule. They don't play the schedule game.
Right.
They just play the games because they know at least they got to do. We ain't debating that.
Right.
It's about how you play that
and
game.
it doesn't actually happen every year, but you feel that way when your team has that kind of quarterback.
And to have the consensus that your fan base is, since Bernie Kosar, there has not been a consensus of this is our quarterback, we riding with this, and we know that we got an opportunity to compete.
No, there was a couple years with Baker where it felt that way. It didn't play out that way.
Yeah.
But going into the season,
there
it
was
felt
there
that
was
way.
thank you. You are correct.
Yes.
There was, because even the people that turned into people that were not, kind of felt Baker wasn't it. There was a point in time where I think 95% of the fan base, no matter what you were, white, black, indifferent, men, women, everybody was in on Baker.
2018, 19, 20?
After he won that Steelers game, I think everybody was.
Yeah.
We were there.
Yeah.
Last thing on this, I just looked up an article, the top 10 draft classes of the modern era.
When is this article from, Mike?
This was written by PFF 2 years ago.
Okay.
So, modern era, they go back to the 2020. This is what they ranked as the top 5 draft classes.
Modern era goes back to 2020? Or
2000. Sorry, 2000.
Okay, about to.
Man, that's a really modern era.
They rank the Saints, and so I'm going to give you the names of some of these, and see if you can pull. Yeah, you already have it up. This is what these guys have to turn into down the road to reach this category. In 2017, this is the number 1 ranked draft class since 2020, according to PFF. Marshawn Lattimore.
No, he keeps. It's 2000.
2000. I don't know why I'm
Keep
saying
saying
2020.
2020.
It's a lot of zeros in that.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lattimore, Ryan Ramczyk, Marcus Williams, Alvin Kamara, Alex Anzalone, and Trey Hendrickson, all in the same draft class.
That's a dope
pretty
class.
good.
There's 3 really good home runs in that draft.
Yeah.
5 players in that draft signed 5-year extensions that made him the top 3 highest paid player in their position.
Okay.
That's
Can't put this draft ahead of that yet.
not yet. Not yet.
What year was that?
2017.
7.
Oh, that's a nice
In
one.
2010, the Seahawks, Russell Okung, Earl Thomas, Golden Tate, and Cam Chancellor, all in the
a good
same
draft.
draft.
Wow,
Yeah.
just 4 picks. That's all they
That
have.
was
They
a
have
good one.
others, but those
Okay,
those
yeah,
are
those
the names.
That was
4
a good
are
one.
really good.
That was really good.
3 of those guys are
2018.
Hall of Famers, right? Or will be.
Earl Thomas for sure. Chancellor
Russell Okung's
possibly.
not a Hall of Famer?
I don't think Russell Okung's a Hall of Famer.
I thought he was
a perennial Pro Bowler.
He was good, yeah. 2018 Ravens, Hayden Hurst, Lamar Jackson, Orlando Brown
Oh,
Jr.
you're too fast, Mike. You're going too fast.
Hayden Hurst.
Go ahead. Hayden Hurst, you can't be all time when your first round pick's Hayden Hurst.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you got Lamar, but
Hayden Hurst, Lamar, Orlando Brown Jr., Mark Andrews, Deshaun Elliott, Bradley Bozeman, and Zach Seiler. And as we learned, Zach Seiler's turned into one of the best defensive tackles in football.
yeah,
That's
pretty
dope.
good.
Good.
That's
And
pretty
what's
good.
funny about that one is it was excellent draft, but they blew their first pick.
Yeah.
Yep. 2012 Seahawks, Bruce Irvin, Bobby Wagner, Russell Wilson, and 2 offensive linemen that played a bunch whose names probably don't know.
Yeah.
But 2
Okay.
Hall of
Russell
Famers
Wilson, the
potentially.
most maligned
Of all
excellent
time.
quarterback of all time.
Of all time. It's wild.
And last but not least, and I want to mention this one because I don't think this draft class is all that incredible. And if this is what PFF ranks as number 5, I do think the Browns draft class has a chance to be regarded incredibly
Nobody
high
can
if
be
these
on the
guys
list
continue.
until it's at least 3 years, I think.
I agree with
It's
that.
got to be at least 3 years that we see it.
Khalil Mack, Derek Carr, Gabe Jackson, TJ Carey, and Cleveland's own Shelby Harris.
Shout out to TJ Carey, OU Bobcat.
That's okay because this
Yeah.
one has every opportunity to be better than that. Coordinating producer Steve sent an interesting note. He can almost just be healthy, and our guy Schwesigner is going to break the all-time rookie record for the most tackles in a season, set by Patrick Willis at 136 back in 2007.
Yeah, he's
Guys, that's pretty
18
heady
away.
stuff.
He's a game and a half away.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, at his average, he'll get that with 2 games to go.
So
he'll get that in 15 games. It took Willis 16.
so is Judkins on pace for 1,000?
No, I don't think he is.
I don't know.
not-
I don't know
think
anymore because
so.
he began hitting his
just
backfield.
just shy.
Well, he's really yesterday was hard to look at.
I mean, he's getting hit, but
it's
he
atrocious.
did make a play in the passing game. He'll probably
you
have
can still
over
see the greatness.
He'll have over 1,000 yards all purpose.
I hope he all purpose.
All purpose he'll have it. But if
I'd like to see him go over 1,000
I
rushing.
want to see him to get to 1,000 rushing.
He actually is on pace to still go over 1,000.
So
I bet it's pretty close though now, right?
It's just over.
So
Yeah.
if he gets 1,000, you say Harold Fannin can. I mean, he's 900, almost 1,000. You see Schwesigner might be the defensive rookie of the year.
So you got a chance for your rookie running back to get 1,000. Mm-hmm. He's on pace to do it. You've got a linebacker who's on pace to set the all-time single-season tackle records for rookies. And you've got a tight end who has already broken the franchise record for most receiving yards as a rookie tight end. And we've got 4 full games to go and could go over 900 and have one of the top 5 rookie tight end seasons of all time.
Right.
Andrew
That's
Barrett,
a home run
By
class.
the way, whether it's in the conversation or not is all about Sheduer.
Yeah,
Because
that's the cherry on top.
You could argue that as of today, the 2018 Browns draft is better than this year.
Yeah, well, that has
As of
some great
today,
players in it.
Because you had
Yeah.
Baker, Denzel Ward, and Nick Chubb. Now, the rest of that draft was trash.
Right?
Okay.
You
But
get 3 hits like
that's
that.
3 though. Them is a lot of Pro Bowls in that.
Yeah, now, none of those guys are going to go to the Hall of Fame.
No, but they were
Probably.
good, solid players.
But Denzel Ward and Nick Chubb are, perennial Pro Bowl, All-Pro players, and obviously Baker is. But if Sheduer ends up being top 10 quarterback in the league, then this has a very good chance to be. This will be that.
Then Andrew Barry might want to get his LinkedIn together because at that point,
I would argue the 2020 Bengals draft, even though it's only 2 players that were any good, is better than that 5th one you mentioned because they got Burrow and T. Higgins in that draft.
Now-
And they got Logan Wilson, who they've now traded.
now
but
we
he's a
all
good
know
player, too.
they won't be counted because they didn't draft. I guess they didn't draft them in the year, but they got the draft capital. Them picks that the Cowboys got from that Herschel Walker trade, that's the greatest pool of all time. They turned them picks into a dynasty. Like they just never lost after that. How do you just?
That's why up until the Deshaun Watson, you could say it was the greatest trade of all time. The Deshaun Watson trade for the Texans will never be considered for Houston the greatest trade of all time. But on the Cleveland end of it, it is the worst trade of all time. It is worse than Minnesota's.
I
because
don't
what
think
what
it
it's
is,
done to our
but-
cap. Well, look at the situation we're in.
We
and
got
the
one
lingering
last-
effects of that trade.
We got one last thing we got to get to today, guys, before we wrap up. We'll do that after a quick word from FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play suddenly, everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com. Place your live bets all season long. FanDuel, the games move fast, and so can you.
By the way, real quick, Mike, before you move on, real quick, I promise.
Shoot.
The Cowboys 1989 draft. Only 2 Hall of Famers. Sorry, I thought it was 3. So go
Still,
ahead.
2 Hall of Famers in one draft. That
Yeah,
qualifies.
go ahead.
On Saturday night,
Yeah.
we watched Ohio State lose the Big Ten championship to Indiana. Ryan Day kicked a field goal, or attempted a field goal, down 3 from the 9 with about 2 minutes to go in a decision that I will frankly never understand. Jay, you're the biggest Buckeye fan out here. What'd you make of the decision, and should Ohio State still be the favorites, despite the fact they lost to Indiana in the Big Ten championship?
Ohio State is the favorite. That's the facts of
Was you hot? Was you, I got calls.
I gotta
from
tell you, I wasn't.
Some people was cool with it. Jonathan Wells was. I talked to him.
Jonathan.
But he was level headed. Jonathan was like, man, they get paid too. They came out and they.
Here's what I say about that game. It was, at the same time, the most meaningless game I think I've ever watched.
They flipped 1 and 2. That's it.
That's all they did.
Wasn't
And in the
meaningless for
grand
the
scheme
players,
of things, in the grand scheme of things,
And they lost the Big Ten title.
that's it. And so last year, they didn't beat Michigan. They didn't win the Big Ten championship. But what happened? They won the Natty. That was an exhibition game that we watched. And what I believe in, my takeaway from the game is Indiana's a little better than I thought they were. And if they played 10 times on a neutral field, if they split 5-5, they are a really well-coached. I thought their defensive game plan and how they went about confusing a rookie quarterback who had seen nothing like that, that's why that game was won by Indiana. He just wasn't sure of what he was looking at for much of the game. I thought he figured it out later in the game. I can't wait for the rematch. I'm not certain we're going to get it, but if you start parsing out what did it matter? Nothing. 1 and 2 flipped. And if you look at 3 and 4, 3 and 4 you could flip. There's no definitive, they're better than 4. So it doesn't really matter. I can't wait to see how these college football playoffs take shape. My 2 biggest takeaways of the week, Notre Dame got jobbed. I'm sorry. If to try to make an argument that they're not
Should
in
they
the
have
top
gotten
12,
in over Alabama or Miami? Not Miami.
No, I don't like the fact that Tulane and JMU are in. That's my beef.
That's the rules, though.
Yep. Well, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing with
No, but
you.
who would you have put them in over?
Well, what I'm arguing against is the way you're doing it.
Right,
He
but,
wants the
you
blue
could,
bloods
but
in.
would you have put them in if you were part of the committee?
I can make a strong argument that they should have been in over Alabama.
I think that's the only team you could have put them in
Alabama
over.
lost their conference championship game by 3 touchdowns,
Right,
and I
right,
believe
right.
they lost 3 games.
I don't know
Yes.
why they didn't boot Alabama instead of Notre Dame.
I don't either. Now,
But I have no
Notre Dame
sympathy for
lost
Notre-
their first 2 games of the season, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they just were boat racing teams.
We'll do more of the playoff
Yeah,
and
go
overtime.
ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to get to the
Ohio State,
The Ohio
though, Jay.
State thing was like whatever. I didn't mind that they kicked the field goal. I mean, it's an 18-yard field goal. I'd go out there with a bad hip and make one.
I was watching the game with AJ. I actually told AJ, I know this is going to be really unpopular. I thought they should have kicked it prior when they missed on the 4th down when they did go for it. Because I'm like, you're down 3, tie the game.
Yeah,
Just tie the game.
sure. I wouldn't have been opposed to that
Let
either.
me tell you something. Kicking that field goal is the most gutless thing I've ever seen in my life. And that's why Ryan Day is overrated as a coach. He remains overrated. Any coach in America would win with the talent he has. They have way better talent than every team in the country. Is that not a fact?
I don't know.
No, not anymore.
I thought they would win by 2 scores.
G. Bush. Do they have more talent than any team in the country?
No, you said
Yes.
way more.
Way more.
Yes.
Oh, stop.
You did. You said way more.
Yeah, they have way more talent
No,
than
they
any
don't.
team in the country.
No, they don't.
Are you kidding me?
No,
Hey, watch
they
this,
don't.
boy. Here's the scary thing for
Yeah.
Indiana. Ohio State played about the worst game they could possibly play.
And they still
And they still barely lost.
I still think Ohio State wins an
Ohio
national
I
State's
do
going to
too.
kill everybody.
I agree.
Now-
I think they will win it all.
They are going to now you got to think about this from now until whenever they play again.
2 weeks.
These dudes are going to be in a frenzy.
It's last year
They're-
all over again.
Oh,
Indiana took the place of Michigan.
But I'll tell you this.
Hopefully it won't be gutless
They're-
again.
but they're
How
off-
you kick a field goal, I can't believe
They're
you said
off
that
for
you-
the next month now.
And
Gutless
so
football.
That's like last year they had the home game against Tennessee and they kept rolling.
this is scary.
This
Well, they
is a
did
long
have the
layoff.
conference championship week off.
Yeah, but having that game against Tennessee, I mean, we saw didn't all 4 teams that got the bye all lost last year?
They're
not losing this year.
Ryan Day is going to close ranks, and he's going to say, now I don't think Ryan Day is that great of a coach, but the one thing that is, this is a layup for him. They're going to close ranks and say, listen, we lost the Big Ten. We ain't nobody. We didn't win nothing this year. Yep. We didn't get what we needed done, and they're going to whip these dudes into a frenzy. They might be running 2-a-days for a whole month. And they're going to get back out here, and they're going to come around and say, well, that woke up Ohio State. Because they were here in their press clippings. They said, this is the best team we ever seen. We talked about the receiving corps being better than professional teams and all that good stuff. Now you get an opportunity to bring them right back down to the ground, and they're going to be hungry, ready to play. Indiana, you do not want to see play Ohio State no more. It's going to be, it's different.
You got one.
Yeah.
But I hope we get that as a rematch.
And I bet you they want it.
I hope we get
They
that.
want it.
I think Ohio State wants it.
I think if Indiana plays Texas Tech, I think they're going to lose.
Texas Tech is very good. They're very Martinez.
Well, can you name one player on Texas
Can't
Tech?
name any, but I know they won their conference, Mike, didn't they?
Yeah, they beat BYU.
did.
Their
Yeah, I know
defensive
they
line
kicked
is
their
silly.
ass, right?
They did beat BYU.
I know their defense is excellent. Do I need to know players?
I think Georgia could win it.
I think Georgia.
sure.
I think
Of course.
Georgia could win it.
Okay,
Georgia's got
Ohio
a
State
very
should have
good
never
football
lost that
team.
game. They would have won if their coach wasn't gutless. That was a terrible
And
gutless.
by the way, Indiana lost one of their top receivers in the first quarter. First possession of the game.
What did you guys think of Mendoza?
Good, not great.
I liked him a lot.
I would not trade up for him. A friend of mine who works on my podcast, who is a college football nerd, he goes to the combine, he does all this stuff. He goes, look at this. I go, what don't you like about Mendoza? He told me, he goes, when he gets under pressure, he drops his eyes. And I was looking for that specifically and did it a bunch of times.
He
That's a major
he completed
flaw.
some nice balls
I think
under pressure.
I think he'll
Saturday
be-
night.
I
Made some
think
good
he's pretty
throws
good.
that Ohio State I've never seen a defense as good as Ohio State. No, this was There's no.
It's an NFL defense.
I
Bull.
couldn't disagree with you more that they'd go 5-5 if they played 10 games.
I think they would.
I think Ohio State would win 8.5 out of 10.
Really?
They're way better.
So far, we've seen them play once, and Indiana's 1-0.
I think 8 out of 10.
I will.
I disagree.
I will bet you. I hope they play again because Ohio State will beat them by 30.
They ain't beating them by 30.
Oh yeah,
They'll win. They'll win if they play again.
I texted Bull and Mike
Yeah.
and said, "Wait till the Browns fire Kevin and hire Signetti."
Signetti.
I wouldn't put past Jimmy.
Well,
Go
he'd
get a
like to,
college
but
coach.
What, he's just signed a 10-year deal. Did you see what the buyout is on it?
I mean, Jimmy don't care. Signetti will tell him I win. Google me.
Hey, by the
Kevin
way,
and Jimmy will say, "Come on,
By
come on."
the way, I love at the end of the game, he was sitting up there. I think he was doing the post game show. They asked him, so Ohio State, you shut them down on defense. What do you want? And he said, let me tell you something. I ain't checked in on the defense in 2 years. I used to go in there and have them in for meetings in a little bit. I told my coach, I said, no, do your thing, bro. I stopped even going to the meetings.
So the good defense, that's a good head coach
He said,
does.
you know what I did? I told him, you know how we won? We play hard, we tackle good, and we get turnovers.
You know what I
was
knew
like,
it was going
I
to be
like
a
that.
game? I've watched Indiana about 4 or 5 times this year. Only once full game start to finish in the regular season, but I've watched large portions of other games. And the one thing that I noticed right away, I told my son this when they were playing Rutgers. I said, when we used to play Indiana, you used to look at them and say, if you just change the logos a little bit and squint, that's Miami of Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's the caliber of kids they had.
Yeah.
They had, smaller, undersized, some water bugs at the skills. But you look at them now, if you squint real close, that Indiana team almost looks like an Alabama roster. They're thick, they're big, they're strong, they're fast.
They remind me of playing St. Ignatius in high school. You just watch them and they be like, dog, these dudes ain't making no mistakes. They in their gap. They hit hard. They run around fast. They confuse you. And they just do it 70-something snaps in a row and get back in the huddle.
Would anybody take Ryan Day over Signetti as a coach?
No, I would not.
I don't know.
Ryan Day has the best talent. So
he does. And the job Ryan Day did last year, it's still amazing to me how much hate he gets. Bull loves to drop on him.
Yeah,
I wouldn't fire him,
the
though.
Coach, well, how can you even make an argument for that?
Yeah.
But the job that he did last year and where he took that team and where his personal life and professional life was after that Michigan game, I don't know how many guys are capable of doing that with the best roster. What he did was, at their absolute lowest moment, convinced all of them, we're going to win it all. We're going to bounce back from this moment, and we're going to win it all. And even if you have the best talent, you still got to go out there and do it. They did it as underdogs in several of those games. And
they were underdogs in those games?
They were underdogs. After the Michigan loss, there was a lot of people looking at Ohio State like they were frauds.
But the odds makers aren't influenced by that. I don't know.
No, I know. But
they were favored at home against Tennessee.
Early they were. Yeah.
And I don't remember Oregon and Texas.
Mike, can you look that up to see if
Ohio,
I don't think Ohio State
against Oregon and Texas last year?
Definitely Texas.
I think Oregon, they may have been an underdog. Remember, Oregon beat them in the regular season last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the odds makers don't factor that in, really.
No, I know they don't.
Yeah.
But what they do is they look at, if you'd have told me last year after the Michigan game Ohio State was going to run the table and win it all.
Yeah.
Ohio State was favored by 2.5.
In the Oregon game. What about Texas?
Bowl.
I would have thought they would have been favored.
They were favored every
and in Notre Dame, I didn't think Notre Dame deserved to be in that championship game.
All right, we got Super Chats, guys. Let's wrap this up. Super Chats today brought to us by Game Time. The World Cup's coming back to North America for the first time since 1994 with 48 teams. It's the biggest ever, but let's be honest, getting tickets can be tough. That's why the Game Time app is clutch, finally giving fans a real advantage when it comes to snagging tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying your World Cup tickets at every match, concert, or event with the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, download the app, make an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go. Download Game Time today. All right, guys, we have a record amount of Super Chats, so we're going to read as many as we can in 7 minutes.
Ready, go.
First one comes from Don't 3S. In the first 2 of 3 games, Sheduer has broken 2 records in franchise history. The numbers don't lie. Not saying names, but let's hear about the Rams game still and how he's not ready. We got plenty of time. Emos112 says, Cleveland's garbage. Please get Sheduer out of here. Cleveland just messes things up like you always have. Trade him to Vegas. You have Mendoza and the supercomputer.
Nope.
G. Bush,
Mike, you don't have to read every one, man.
Nope.
Are these the ones that they paid enough money that are worth reading?
Nope. No. We keeping him. I appreciate y'all, man, but we gonna keep him over here, man.
Oh, I still stand by what I said. He's the starter next year or go. But he's playing well enough to be the starter.
Mr. Hillsman says, quote, it's the Titans. Well, it's the Browns. How bad were the Browns yesterday? Funny, it's always the other team. Browns just as bad. Third game, limited reps, burglary. Most media and staff don't want you. Please trade Sheduer.
No, we cool. We want to stay
There's
right
about
here. We are
12 inaccuracies in that, but go ahead.
Kenneth Yablonowski says, if this was Mendoza's first 3 games, would you guys be saying the same things about him?
What are we saying? Everybody was complimentary.
Triggered.
Everybody gave him an A, but me, I gave him a B+.
Triggered. You're a trigger.
You thought we'd all given him a C-.
Phil
Saying the same
Bowman
thing.
says,
I don't know
come
what
on,
to say.
Shedorians, use your brains. It's better he went second because now there's nobody that will say DG is better. We learned and now can improve. Quit crying. Ms. Bell says, with 3 starts as his reps is no proof, trade him.
No. We gonna keep him.
Pharrell Collins says, Jay, you're obviously higher on Mendoza than Sanders. I agree with you. I think Mendoza would be your steady 6-10 win quarterback a year with no threat to ever win you a playoff game or a Super Bowl. Sanders seems to have the juice.
I don't know. Did you say you liked Mendoza?
I do like Mendoza. Yeah, he really impressed me Saturday night.
I mean, I'm not no hater. I thought Mendoza did something.
Everybody on that defense is going to play in the NFL. When have we ever said that? I mean, Alabama and Georgia have had teams where 8 or 9 guys.
Some of those plays in the running game, it looked like Indiana had a huge hole, it'd be a big gain, and boom, hit a brick wall.
Oh, Reese is. How good is Reese?
I mean, he's
How many
fantastic.
first-rounders did they have on the
Arvell Reese
defense?
is nice.
3?
Arvell Reese is crazy.
Everybody
4,
on that
you think they're gonna
defense
have
is going
4
to get
in the first
drafted in the
round?
next few years.
Hey, they got
Every starter.
Yeah, it's an NFL defense. That's why I said Friday, I'm really going to be watching Mendoza on this scale. I don't care what he's done the rest of the year. He's played Purdue, and those are bad teams. This was a great defense with an NFL defensive coordinator.
I don't know. Steve Becker said Ryan Day getting wins over Purdue is impressive. So I don't know. We can't
Hopefully
ignore it.
Mendoza's got 3 more games against top quality games.
I want to see it. Yeah, I want to see more of it.
Go ahead, Mike.
Gutta Jukebox says, I know Sheduer was going to ball. I put a 3-leg parlay in for Njoku touchdown, Jerry touchdown, Sheduer to throw 3 touchdowns at
Attaboy.
plus 93.10. Turned $10 into 941. Thank goodness I
Way
didn't put the
done.
money
Christmas
line.
money.
One last
Well
thing,
done.
too, on the Mendoza thing. I forgot to bring this up. It was the most impressive thing I saw from him Saturday night. The first pass of the game, he got depleted.
Yeah.
I mean, he absolutely got I thought he was out for the game. I really did. He went to the sidelines for one play while his brother came in and handed it off.
Yeah.
He came back in the play and still had a
mean,
heavy rush. And was not fazed by it. There were a couple times he stood in there, and threw the ball knowing he was going to get buckled.
Yeah, let's keep it 100. He played that game concussed. We all know that.
Let me tell
I
you.
wouldn't be surprised if he
Did you see his post-game press conference?
I was
Yes!
listen.
But he was, like, out of
In
his
the
mind
post game, I would listen. If there's nothing more, you talk about Shedeur Sanders being interesting.
Yeah.
This young man,
He's cutting WWF promo.
he's a. Can you imagine him taking these post game conversations? This man would sound like the honky tonk man and Macho Man Randy Savage, bro. Jimmy Fly Snooker. I'm like, yo, this dude is a matador. This is crazy.
I liked it. He impressed the hell out of me.
Couple more. Cleveland Takeover says, I just heard Jay and Jason says Sheduer needs to do this against the Bills, Bears, and Steelers. The hate is so real. They're saying he needs to have a Hall of Fame pace just to impress him.
Have a blessed day.
So instead, we just rubber stamp them and say we've seen enough?
I mean, I could not say more positive things than I say today about Sheduer. I've given
You're
up.
never going to please
I've given up.
certain
Go ahead.
folks.
Keep going.
Terrell Collins says, been a Browns fan for a long time, been a huge Sheduer fan also, but why do most older Browns fans have such losers mentalities? Like they're afraid of having a franchise having a team worth talking about aside from losing?
Yeah, that's it. They want a losing team.
Well, I think
Clarity
pretty much are all
Speak
in on
says,
losing.
Clarity Speak says, we day one Sheduer fans demand Cleveland stop slandering and scapegoating us to deflect away from their private dislike of Sheduer and the urban culture.
I couldn't love that kid anymore. I love that kid.
Hey, man,
After his post-game Moose conference yesterday, I loved him even more.
Hey, shout out to the culture. Listen, Sheduer had me wearing 7 chains on today, 6 and glasses.
Through the Fire podcast, the fact that all of these talking heads keep saying Sheduer has 3 touchdowns seems to be nuclear hate for 12. I promise you I saw him get 4. To say anything less is diabolical.
Oh, God.
Wait, no. Let's just clarify this. Throwing touchdowns, right? He threw for 3 touchdowns.
And he ran for 1.
And he ran
Doesn't
for
matter.
1. I mean, we've got a graphic that we called up a number of times during the show that said
Doesn't matter.
he
Facts don't matter
totaled
anymore,
4
Jay.
touchdowns.
Facts don't matter
He
anymore.
threw for 3 touchdowns, and that's a fact.
Juicy Juice says it's terribly sad that Sheduer playing well triggers Jay and depresses Bull and the other guy so much.
It's an exercise in futility, gentlemen. That's why I say the danger of overswinging and
Mike.
overreacting. That's where it is, right there.
Ironically, I just read the ones that paid $10 or more. Those are all the ones that paid $10.
I think that's a good way of doing it. The guys that are willing to drop that kind of coin.
We'll see you in overtime.
Crazy
Peace.
thought.